Bonsoir. Hello. There. Hi, outsider. Hello, honey. Hello, digital. Hello, Nail. Am I okay? I'm gonna be okay. Actually, I'm a little small. Let me get a little closer. There we go. What is that? Oh, never mind. Hey, thank you for that, Pat. But yeah, welcome in, everybody. It's Sunday, and, I don't know. Hi, Skyfer. Hello. Hoping it gets better for you? Thank you. Can we send a funny video? No, it's okay. I don't need one right now. Hi, Sinful. Is that my goat? Damn, I got the goat. I got the goat status from Sinful now. That's pretty good. What did you do for Sunday? Hey, Swimmy. Good to see you. Your Sun player Shonen Pro Tag has returned. Ah, that sounds like the PC is finally working. I have come. Well, it's the wrong day to come, but yeah. Hi, Emblem. What's up? But yeah, how'd I put this? I'm tired. Bro, I've come for the hug. Okay, I appreciate that. I don't know. I thought about taking the night off, but at the same time, I do want to stream because I know for a fact that if I stream, it will make me feel better. Like, that's less about you guys telling me or you guys making me feel better and more like I'm making myself feel better by doing this. It's one of those things where, like, if all else fails, go do the thing that you normally do all the time, and that will make you feel better. The hug of the bards. No handstand, only self-care. If you're tired, then sleep, problem solved. You're also right about that. Sometimes sleeping more helps a lot. Although sometimes you get into the habit of sleeping too much, and then that becomes a different problem, right? But yeah, what did I do on Sunday? Today is one of those days where it was not a bad day. In fact, a lot of good things happened, but at the same time, at the end of it, I just felt really, really tired. I guess it doesn't help that there's stuff happening with the family that is less than stellar. Like, there's nothing I can really do about it, but hearing about it is kind of a bummer. What you want to do? Just vibe for a second, you know? Maybe for a longer than a second. Here. Like, did a poetry thing today, you know, went to a farmer's market. What else did I do today? I even did a tournament today. If you guys saw, I was on stream for like Mr. Soul's Wild Ride or something like Mr. Bad Guy's Wild Ride. I was in that tournament. I was like one away from top 8. Sounds like you're tad bit mentally drained. I've been kind of going nonstop for the last week or so, you know? Like, even on days off, it wasn't really a day off. I had things to do. I have things to do this week too. Evo is in like a week. I was gonna ask. Yeah, honey. I was gonna say well, actually, I was not gonna tell you because I didn't want you to worry. But it's not looking great. So yeah. But you know, that's how it goes. I'm not in an emergency or anything, guys. I just want to put that out there. I'm just tired. And so when that happens, it's just good to just what is it called? I guess internet's checkpoint. Like, just take a moment to save your game. You know? Praying that things get better? Oh, well, yeah. Right? You know, after I did my poetry reading today, someone came up to me for the upteenth time, was like, oh my god, you should do audiobooks. You know, I have that one problem, right? Where the hardest thing for me isn't finishing something, it's starting it. Right? You should take a day off and just sleep. Nah, I did that once. I did not feel good after that. It's easier said than done. Please put yourself first. Oh, I know. I mean, like I said, doing this is putting myself first here, you know? Because I knew if I was just going to go to bed, I don't think I'd feel better after that. You know, maybe I'd be on my phone playing horse game or something. I don't know. But the lowest moments, that all I hear is like Umyop Choi in my mind right now, which is very funny to me. Pet the bronze swallow. Thank you, X Digital. Not gonna lie, I agree. Doing nothing all day doesn't make me feel better. Yeah, no. Sometimes, I think more often than not, right? When you're feeling down, it's normally because, and like if you're feeling down and there's like nothing in particular bad that happened, it's usually because you know that there's something you should be doing, but you haven't been doing it. And for me, you know, I wanted to get a lot of things done today, but I feel like I just kind of fell in the same loop again. Because, you know, you get into certain daily habits, and then on days off, you're just like, I really need the break. I really need to do this thing that I don't really need to do, right? A good cleaning helps me when I'm down. Clean space, clean mind. Yeah, you're right about that. I did clean a little bit today, but not a lot. I don't know. Just listen to my voice in the back of your head asking for hands. Every time I hear your voice, Skyfer, it's just like, respectfully, you know? Like, your text is louder than your actual voice, which I think is very funny to me. But yeah, I guess I'm just worried about the future a little bit. You know? It's one of those things where you know what you want to do, you know what you have to do, but every single time you want to go do the thing, it's just, you have trouble getting the ball rolling, you know? And then people try to help, and you're just like, I don't really need the help. Because I feel like sometimes getting more people involved just simply drags everyone else down. And it's one of those things where, like, the emotional support is good, but ultimately the actual problem lies with yourself, and you just gotta tough it out sometimes, you know? You gotta go do the thing. Even now, right? Am I really doing the thing I wanted to do? Not necessarily, but this, I guess, in a way, is a bit of a pep talk. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I get afraid of sacrificing the status quo. Right? Things are how they currently are, and things are pretty good. But they could be better. And I'm afraid of, like, trading in what I already have to only possibly make things better. Right? Why do you gotta call me out like that? Hey, I put it how it is, man. Don't sugarcoat it. It's in God's hands now. Not much we can do about it. Yeah. It's alright. I think lots of people are. You don't know where to start if there's more to it. No, it's like, you know what you have to do, but every time you want to take that first step, it's like, you have trouble. It's like you want to turn away from it. You want to, like, is it running away? Not necessarily. It's more like you keep beating around the bush. You know, you never really get to the point. Bird. Procrastination is almost what it is. Yeah, in a way, right? I feel like a lot of people suffer from this. And my theory is that it might have to do with habits that we developed back in school. You know what I mean? Because of the way that the school system is, a lot of people just kind of procrastinate. Very few people. Usually it's the normies, right? People who don't get into hyperfixations or anything like that. The normies have ample amounts of time to do things, and they are on top of it, and they just do things early and are always, you know, sticking to the agenda. And then there's a lot of people who are just, I have so many hobbies, I have so many things I like to do, I like have so many friends, my homework's due tomorrow. I had a week to work on this thing. Right? It's one of those. It sounds more like burnout. Ew, school. I know, right? And I don't know if it's burnout either, right? At the same time, maybe you're not wrong. I still feel like I have a lot to give, but at the same time, all the things I want to do, right? All the creative things I want to do feel like they have to take a back burner because I have responsibilities, including all the things I owe. You know, I keep going back and forth on this. I don't necessarily like to repeat myself, even though I'm okay with doing it all the time. But it's like, How many times can you tell someone the same thing, and then after that you revisit the topic and they're asking, like, where are you on this, right? You said you wanted to do this. Yesterday you said tomorrow. Whatever the Shia LaBeouf says, right? So just do it. Me as fuck. Is that what if? What do you mean by what if? Think about how happy and satisfied you'll feel after you start. That's true, actually. I mean, it's been said before, right? Where if you just take care of the thing that's hard now, then you'll thank yourself later. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it. Just do it. I'm not gonna lie, though. I have been thinking about the Shia LaBeouf song. The one that's like, you're walking through the woods when your car broke down, when out of the corner of your eye you spot him. Shia LaBeouf. I almost forgot. Nail asked me to say this. Brawny boy in Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, I could do it better. I don't know. I don't even know if Nail's here right now. I want to start, but I'm scared of me getting made fun of, but I believe in you. I don't imagine anyone would make fun of you, and if they did, I just don't think that they're very good friends, in my opinion, right? I don't know. Sometimes you got to take a hard look at the people you surround yourself with, and you got to think to yourself, is this really the company I want to keep? And that's a hard question. Sometimes that's all people know, and sometimes that's, as a result, how people end up in toxic situations. And they're afraid to leave it because, more often than not, people are going to stick to their comfort zones rather than move outside of it, even if it's the best thing for them to do. Question. I'm glad I'm surrounded by you. That's a strange way to put it, but I totally understand what you mean. I'm just glad that, I can be here for people. And I know I was gone for like 5 months, but I feel like, well, that was because I just really needed the time. And it was nice for a while. But I'm not lying when I said I spent every single day missing chat. Yeah, not a day went by when I was like, man, I miss everybody. I miss being able to do this and that. And now I'm back, and now I'm doing this and that. But now I'm also reminded of just like how little time I have when I kind of divide it among everybody I know. And the hard part sometimes is saying no, right? Like, no, I got to do this. But it's so easy to get distracted too, because if it's not this friend, then maybe it's another friend doing something. And then you try to like put your hands in too many baskets, or whatever the saying goes, right? We love you, and you miss the bird. The bird I could do without, but What pushed you towards practicing Strive? Oh, it was actually really easy. Because, well, I mean, did I ever tell you how I got into Strive in the first place? Right? Damn. You guys act like I love this bird or something. I'm watching you. I know you guys love the bird, though. I assumed you just like the game. I do like the game, yeah. But like, there's a lot of people who like the game but never really get better at it, right? And what's the difference? Isn't that your goat? I don't say the bird's my goat. Come on, guys. Am I winning? Hurricane VT. Hey, welcome in. Winning is well, it's a strong term. I was thinking about the whole you not able to say no got me a little worried. It's not that I'm not able to say no. I can say no to things. It's just that, like, it's awkward to say no to somebody and then go off and do something else. That's not the thing you're supposed to do. Right? Which is why I don't make that I don't make a habit of that. Like, if I say, like, hey, I can't hang out today because I'm doing this thing, I'm going to go do that thing. But then after that, I do the thing very inoptimally. And as a result, I'm just like, man, I feel like I did not use my time very well. I mean, it's not like I wasn't productive this weekend. Like, I even cleaned out my PC, but we ran out of the the air can thing that sprays to clean. So I had to just do a manual, like, get rid of the dust type of deal. And so now the computer's a bit cleaner, but it's still summer, so this thing might overheat. Well, okay, it's not going to overheat. The fan's working fine, but yeah. You know the bird hears everything you're saying. I know, and I'm not afraid to say it to its face. The defense is, do you like improving or do you like... Oh, the difference. Well, yeah, right. I like improving. I think learning the skill is very fun, right? I think the concept of it and the way that you get to know people because of it is very fun. But it didn't start out like that, really. I played Strive for the first time because before that, I was playing DBFZ, and before that I was playing Super Smash Bros. Melee, right? And it was all because of this one friend who doesn't really play fighting games anymore because he's, well, he's doing good. He makes a lot of money. He has his own place. He has a girlfriend that he lives with. Life is good. They invited me over for their housewarming party and for like mahjong and board games sometimes. They also live kind of far away now, so it's a bit of a drive. And, you know, it's hard not looking at that and thinking to yourself, well, first off, I always remind myself everyone grows at different paces. You know, I look at my other friends and they're kind of in a similar situation to me, you know. They still live with family. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? They're still trying to figure out what they want to do in life, and that's okay too. Well, everyone's got their own struggles. It's just a matter of like how you approach them and all. And I feel like no matter where you are in life, it's always gonna be like a I could be doing better kind of deal. And so part of it is separating improvement from self-judgment, I think, right? Some people get really hung up on not being where they want to be and then thinking that that's a reflection of their own like self-worth, which I think is very unhealthy. It's even more unhealthy though when you live in an environment where everyone reminds you of that fact. Well, not a fact, but like, you know, the thing that people repeat to you, like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you making as much money or whatever, right? I'm not saying that happens to me all the time, but I know that people are concerned sometimes too, right? If they're a good pal, if you say no and do something else, they won't mind. They won't be mad. Yeah, exactly. In this economy, living with family is optimal. I agree with that, actually. Because, like, the only way you're ever affording a place is either you live somewhere that's, well, where the real estate is very low, or you come from generational wealth. And one out of two of those is probably not gonna happen, right? Where are my grandkids? Where are my grandkids? Some parents, every chance they get. It's like, are you gonna get married soon? Funny enough, my parents are not too worried about that. Because I think their priorities are, like, are you gonna be financially okay first? Plus, like, my mom is definitely one of those people where she always tells me, single is best, son. Have fun while you can. Which I know sounds funny, but I think she means that, like, some of the best years of your life are when you're gonna be single. Well, in a way, I guess that's kind of true. There's certain things you can only do while you're single, and not when you're, like, together with somebody. I don't know, though. Depends on the person. But yeah, with Strive, how did I get started with that, right? How did I get improvement on that? Yeah, my friend got me into Melee because he showed me all of this cool stuff you could do, all the documentary. Then, like, the storylines are definitely, like, in the competitive scene are definitely what makes things interesting. And from there, it was like, yo, look how cool this game looks. And I was like, DBFZ, I love Dragon Ball, you know? And this game looks so good because Arxis is really good at what they do. And then after that, like, the trailer, right, is revealed Evo for Guilty Gear Strive, and it's new Guilty Gear. And it's like, oh my god, that is the most beautiful game I've ever seen in my life. 3D cell shaded, just amazing. Blew my socks off, right? And then after that, he was like, let's play Exard. And it was, oh my god. Gay kisser Otts. You are the 3,000th follower. Out of all the people who could give me my 3,000th follow, it was that guy. Or them, or they. Or she, I don't know. Yeah, ain't no way. Ain't that's a 3,000. I gotta take a picture now. I guess. Normally that I would be celebrating. I mean, I was anticipating celebrating it today, but I was like, man, I am so tired. I'm emotionally drained, as they say. I'm gonna save that for later. Here, I'll do the. Where is it? We did it, everybody. I would do more. We did it. Where is it? Where is it? You know, the thing you play, when you hit. I'm just kidding. Yay! We did it! We hit 3,000 followers after all this time. Isn't that crazy? 3K exactly. Nice. I know, right? Put them in the 3,000 milestone. Let's see. How am I gonna do this? It's Friday now? It's Friday now. What is that emote? Is that a Goomba jam? Oh my god. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, anyways, I was gonna have more fanfare, but you know, circumstances being what they are, I'll take that much at least. It is no longer Friday. No, it is no longer Friday. Tomorrow is Monday. Tomorrow is another day. But yeah, we have 3,000 followers now, guys. It finally happened. Also, Treat33. Hey, welcome in. Wow, Oh, I love that. I love that little emote. Yeah. Wait, actually, I'm kind of curious. Hold on a second. Oh, well, does this work? That sounds kind of bad. Well, hold on. You know, I'll give it a chance. I'll let it play. I'm kind of curious. What is that? Okay, it's not very good. How about this one? Okay, this is a little more promising. This is in the Sega Mega Drive, Sega Genesis sound font. Sounds better. This takes me back to 2018. Yeah. Wait, 2018. I guess that was when the meme was at its highest, huh? 30K? I don't know about that. It's a tall order. Then the world. Light work, low diff. It's definitely possible, but I mean, I know the steps you have to do it, right? Get yourself going in a good category. Get, you know, spread out or diversify your logistics, you know, be in different places, you know, have a presence in social media, be active. And if I'm being honest, I'm just not very active in a lot of different ways because I keep putting my time into things that are technically distractions, right? It's like whenever you spend time on one thing, you have to make time. Like to make time for one thing, you have to take it from another. You know, I know my Goat Bruno can do it. Being active is hard. I know, right? I mean, I have ideas. I keep having plans. There are plans. I have them. You know, how do I put this? I mean, I'll let the song play out still. I have plans I cannot share because the haters will sabotage me. That's how it be. Staying active is cumbersome sometimes. I know, right? It's like you have to be very rigorous. And if you're already like, the best analogy I can put, right, is that it's like you're on a train and it's really easy while you're still on the train, but the moment you fall off, right, you are constantly running on the tracks to catch up. And sometimes people are like constantly running right after the train because like desperately trying to get back on it. And some people, depending on the circumstances of their life, are like have been chasing after the train from the very beginning, right? They've never been on the train. And I guess at some point it just felt like you don't even notice when it happens, but suddenly everything is piled up. There's so much work to do, and chipping away at it, like steadily, never feels like enough because the train keeps going further from you, even when you're at a constant pace, right? You'd either have to like go by leaps and bounds or take a big risk and try to just start over, right? And neither of those options are particularly enticing to me, but I think the first option is a little bit better, right? Going by leaps and bounds, but that takes a lot of energy and a lot of sacrifice, I'd say. When I say sacrifice, I mean more like you have to take away from some things that you do in order to make time for others, like I said, right? Time that you spend with friends, time that, you know, spend with whoever it is going to have to go towards that, towards like the projects and hobbies that you have, or like random video games you play. Sorry, no more time for that. You have to go work on this thing. You have to go do video editing or recording or who knows what have you, right? In order to stay on top of things. My plans are so complex that not even I can fully grasp them. It helps to write them down for sure. You know, I wrote a poem the other day. You guys want to hear the poem that I wrote? Oh, light mode, E. Whoa, mouseception. Actually, I can fix that by doing this. Hold on a second. There we go. I think I'm genuinely cursed. Why would you say that? Snaps aggressively. Yeah, hit it, Bard Boy. You guys do realize I'm a poet, right? For some of you probably don't know this. Like, that's my thing. I write poetry. Here we go. Tentatively, this year, I do not need permission, but I seek it. To claim this time for myself, to put my stake on this piece of history and say that this will be the year. The year of triumph. The year of passion. The year of progress, of love and forgiveness. A year of beauty. A year of overcoming all that troubles me and beyond. I want to be someone that declares it. To have the confidence to say, I deserve this. To carve space for myself and not compare my own shadow to those of giants. I hesitate to be the prophet of my own destiny, lest my hubris cause pain to those around me. But if I can allow myself this want, that the only permission I really needed was my own, then let it be this wish, that this will be the year I let go of shame and anger, of self-loathing and carelessness. This will be the year that I take another step without fear or judgment. This will be the year that I allow myself to breathe without clutter. The year that self-care comes with grace and time. The year that skin is treated softly and sweat comes from the effort of days in a year. That hard work is a tangible thing, and each moment of repetition is a testament to living legacies. I don't like to make promises I can't keep, but tentatively, this year, I will not say let me, but I will dream another dream and keep dreaming. To create more than I consume, to make my voice one that can change the world, to grow love in my life in ways that continue to flourish. When my self-esteem finally stops saying, is it really okay for someone like me? No matter how slow I go, this will be the year I do not stop. Thank you. Well, thanks for that. It's really good, thank you. A lot of my poetry is written in that kind of style, I would say. I don't know, it's another thing on the pile of like things I've been wanting to do, and just I've got a bad habit, right? Like since school, even till now, how I separate my work is like this. I look at what's important and what's urgent, right? Things that are urgent, even if they're not necessarily important, will go at the top of the stack of things to do because obviously they're due first, right? And things that are important do also have a due date, and so I have to group them up based on that. And so sometimes I have these very important things that don't necessarily have a due date, and because of that, they fall to the wayside because they don't seem to have a sense of urgency with them, right? And because of that, these things I deem important to me end up sitting on the back burner and then looming over me whenever I try to want to get things done. Because I always gravitate towards the things that I think are happening sooner. Granted, you could always say, well, Braun, why don't you just have an artificial due date for certain things? And that's kind of the problem, right? Without some external factor pushing me forward, it's really hard to kick myself into gear. And that's why more often than not, people who work with me realize very quickly that as much as I love positive reinforcement, sometimes they really need like a very strict hand in order to actually get me to do anything. And that's kind of sad. Like, you know, instead of the carrot, you need more stick. And that's important sometimes, I would say. But I would say it's how you use the stick that's important as well. It depends, though. Clap, thank you. Good stuff, thank you. Thank you, Marco. You owe it to yourself to push yourself to want to be the person you want to be. I agree with that, actually. You know, sometimes the person who needs to be strict with you is yourself. And I just don't know sometimes whether or not I'm too strict or not strict enough. I feel like I'm strict on the wrong things. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be mean to yourself, but sometimes I can't help but think that being like, you need to do a little bit more of being the bad guy with yourself, because I'll be honest, sometimes spite is a powerful motivator. Like, sometimes things get done because you really hate somebody or yourself, really. Depends. I write sometimes. It's difficult getting anything done as there's all the past unfinished works just looming over me. Exactly, right? It's just like, man, I could have done that. I could have done this. But ultimately, I think that's important is to know which one is your priority, right? If you really want to finish something, then you just kind of have to put your nose to the grindstone for it. And that means setting aside time to do the thing. That's another thing, right? I have that fan fiction contest that I talked about a few times. I still haven't set time aside to just sit down and do it. Like, I could just take a day off to not to stream and then do that instead. But then I would feel like, oh, I'm missing stream, right? But of course, everyone would understand, but it would feel wrong to me, and that's the problem, right? How do you break out of routine? How do you say, sorry, guys, I said fuck it, and I said this is more important? I guess that's the thing, right? You have to be able to deem what's important in your life and say no. And that's the other thing. There are days where I label them on my schedule as a break day to do the things I want to do, but actually those days are dedicated to time like other people said, yeah, we need you for this thing, and this is kind of important. And I say, okay, yeah, all right, I'll be there. Unrelated, but just be laxatives or something in lies of piss. Boss was bad until I discovered the tennis minigame. Then it was hype. Oh, you're at Lightning Woman. Yeah, I know all about that. And that shit is hard as hell until you realize, oh, I can deflect the lightning. Hell yeah. Writing the first 3 words is always the most difficult part for me. Yeah, I'm in that same boat of like, it's so hard to start something, but once you get the ball rolling, it's hard to stop. So yeah, but the thing is like, I'm so afraid to put the pen down sometimes because then once you stop, you have to start again, and starting it back up is always the hardest part. Some people say finishing something, right, is the hard part for them. But in my case, it's starting. I guess that's why poetry has always come more naturally to me over time, because poems are like very small, self-contained things, and they're really easy to finish once you just get into the groove of something, right? You can sit down for a session and then you'll have yourself something that's a finished product and you don't have to worry about it. Whereas a piece of fiction or short story writing or even like a novel is a much longer process and a project that you have to dedicate yourself to. And for some people, it's a lot easier, right? Imagine all that time you spend doing your dailies and gotcha games or playing that video game you always love all the time because it's the thing you do, right? Like, I just do this thing after work. It's my routine, it's my ritual, right? Some people, their ritual is instead of going to play the video game, they go and start writing right after work. And then they just don't stop for the next 4 hours or so, or 6, depending on who you are. And before you know it, weeks have passed, and suddenly you have like a 100-page manuscript from just writing like 5 pages a day. In my case, it's both starting and finishing stuff. More finishing than starting. I see. How do you like? I guess the advice is like, how do you bring it home, right? How do you land? How do you nail the landing? The way you frame towards pushing yourself is important. You can't be mean or rude to yourself, at least in my opinion, adds more pressure. I've felt this before, but at the same time, if I don't light a fire underneath myself, sometimes I just know that, like, man, I mean, you're not wrong, right? It's easy to play devil's advocate, but in reality, the more you try to push yourself, like, desperately, the more, like, you'll find times where you really want to give up. Whereas I feel like the most motivated times I've ever felt are when I always felt like I had people behind me whenever I do something. You know, even if they're not directly involved, it's like if you play the horse girls game, right? There's certain horse girls that are just like, I get motivated when I know there's people cheering me on, and then they just do so much better. It's kind of like the same thing, right? Humans are social creatures, and so when you feel Like, that weight of everybody behind you, it just pushes you forward a lot easier. And that's why sometimes secret projects are so hard to do, because you want so badly to just tell people what you're working on, and sometimes that works because people keep you accountable, but other times it doesn't work because then you just lose all motivation because you already kind of got that gratification from telling people, right? And so the only real solace you have when working on something is that you can only imagine, oh man, once I finish this thing, people are really going to love it, right? At least that's the hope. Have you celebrated the things you accomplished? There's that too. I mean, yeah, but I sometimes I find it hard to celebrate these things because instead of seeing them as like a milestone, I see them more as like either something that's to be expected or something that's like just what's it called? An inevitability in the path of improvement, right? Like, oh yeah, you almost got top 8 in the tournament, right? So a lot of people would celebrate that kind of thing, and I'm just like, yeah, I know. I feel like that's something that should naturally happen over time if I just keep practicing, right? But then does it take away from the actual moment where you hit first place and you're just like, yeah, like, I don't know. Depends on what you dream about. Depends on what your position is on certain things, I'd say. Those long projects, I do have to force myself some days. Even if I get nothing else done all day, I just force 500 words out. It is very fun, though. All due respect, Bardman, but a W is still a W. I agree. I agree with that, right? Like, I'll take small wins, right? I do it all the time. Like, oh, I hit the combo I wanted, or oh, I did the thing, right? But I guess it's sometimes the things that you want to be acknowledged for by other people that don't always get celebrated the most. Like, when you clean your room, right? Maybe you didn't clean all of it today, but you got some of it done. But the people who, you want them to see, hey, I did something good today, don't really see the bigger picture of it. They just see, is the room clean or not? It's very binary. I'm giving an example here, right? Hi, Bella. Welcome in. If you never celebrate even the smaller successes, the journey just gonna feel like a drag. Don't worry, I do celebrate the small successes. Like the other day, I hosted a poetry event by myself for like not the first time, but a big one, and I was like, yeah, that was amazing. I was really good. Well, actually, I guess a lot more. I guess a lot of other people congratulated me and celebrated me, but in the back of my head, I was just like, yeah, naturally, that's just how I do things. And I guess that's given people a very big impression of like he's just cool like that. But in another way to look at it, you could also view it as I'm a bit hard on myself sometimes. Despite how whimsical I can be, I think at heart I'm a very serious person because I just feel like if I don't take things seriously, then people will think that I'm just being frivolous, you know? You raise your hands over your head and you go, "Yay!" I do that sometimes. But I don't know, maybe not. Maybe not enough. Hope you feel well rested soon. Thank you, Bella. I appreciate that. Learning to celebrate accomplishments is super hard when you're not used to it. It's not that I can't. It's just that sometimes I feel like, is this really something to be celebrating, right? That's really on them then. If you think about the small L's, you also got to take the small W's. I mean, yeah. Take the celebration. Congratulations. Oh, hi, Cookies. What's up? Sorry, I'm feeling tired today, so we ended up like just talking about life instead. Thank you for the head pat, by the way. And yeah, it's not like I'm incapable of celebrating small things. It's just that like, I mean, you guys have a point, right? It's always easier to celebrate the big W's instead of the small ones. But you guys have seen me celebrate small W's too. It's just that maybe I'm not celebrating the small W's that I should be celebrating, right? But sometimes they do feel a little meaningless when it's just me celebrating them. Like when no one else cares, right? It's hard to be your own cheerleader. Right? Especially when it's something that like not many other people are going to care about. Like if I told someone I know in real life, hey, I just hit 3,000 followers on Twitch, they'd be like, oh, that's cool. Or only? You're still only there? Or whatever, right? Obviously, all of my streamer friends are going to be like, wow, congratulations on 3K. Wow. But, you know, it's not necessarily about the actual celebration of it, but rather who celebrates it sometimes, you know? Like, you ever think about sometimes how the whole world could be singing your praises, but the one person who you really wanted praise from is someone that, you know, isn't necessarily going to be, yeah, isn't necessarily going to care about it. And I think that's the hard thing. That's a very hard thing to take in. You know what I mean? I think people kind of relate to this in one way or another. You know? I'm not gonna lie though, I'm pretty proud of myself for this setup today because I was like, I want to make it look like I'm outside but in front of a fire, and it really does look like that. And I'm not lying to you. I'm staring into the fireplace as we, or you know, the little fire pit as we speak, just watching my thoughts roil in the flames. Yeah, for sure. I will with force you with nothing and nothing but positive vibes to not just think, oh, this is just a thing I do. Hooray! It is a nice setup. Yeah, I come on. I just celebrate this. I know how to celebrate things. You just don't really notice every step along the way as you think each one should come easier than they did. I mean, it's easier to look back on things when you really look at the massive amounts of work you do, right? Like, we did a channel retrospective at some point. We looked at all the clips and all the streams and all the times we had together, and I'm just like, wow, I really did that, huh? And then I felt proud of it, and I was like, I'm feeling pretty good about it. And like I said, I'm not putting myself down, and I can recognize when like I do good things and I'm proud of myself for those things. But it's one of those things where like, is it weird how some people will praise you and you're like, thank you, but their praise isn't necessarily the same as the praise you want from a certain person or certain people in your life, right? That kind of thing, right? It's not that their praise isn't important, but it's more like, what do you really know about somebody sometimes? You know what I mean? That's a deep question, and sometimes a very personal and fearful question. But the true answer that I think is important to understand is that you don't really need to know somebody very well to support them. Sometimes all you really need is just a simple act of kindness to care about somebody, right? Someone spotted you some money for a sandwich, and you're just like, damn, that's a big deal. And then no matter what, you know, even if you don't necessarily know the person very well, you're just like, I'll support you for that. I mean, there's obviously complications, right? Maybe a person isn't very, like, they'll do one kindness for you, but you're like one piece of kindness in a sea of, like, malicious things they might have done. And then at that point, you're just, you know, having a moral conundrum of, I'm not sure I should be supporting this person, even if they were nice to me. You know what I mean? That's a whole other complicated issue. I'm really sinful. Can I send you funny video or no? You don't have to, but you can put it in chat now. I'll look at what it is. You don't really notice every step along the way. You think each one... Oh, I already read that. Dang, send some of them to me. I mean, like I said, my compliment redeem is only 10 points because I think it's just something that's easy to do. And obviously it's more effective if I know you better, but I personally just think it's easier to be nicer to somebody than it is to be mean. Like Sinful, you just redeemed it, and I just think like you've always been a very positive attitude and positive energy in the chat. Like I enjoy having you around. I just think like I'm happy to see you. Like you make the world a better place, even when you're in other places. And I think that it's like I see you and I just get good energy, good vibes, and like good fun from having you around. And I'm grateful for your presence. You're gonna dry your eyes staring at the fire like that? Maybe. It's a start. I get what you mean. Subdues, congrats on 3K. Hey, Murdoch. I started reading through the story, but I stopped like 2 chapters in for the Nikkei event, and I see what you mean. I'm not gonna lie, I was doing the Sukomi thing, where like, that. Wow, your personality is a whole 180, and like, do you have a screw loose or something? What happened between like now and then in the main story for you to act like that? I just think it's super funny, actually. Is Red Hood? I think it is for sure. Um, I think that once I understand all the context, it'll make a lot more sense. But right now, because I have no context, it's even that much more funny, and because of the fact that normally Rappy is like the straight person in the comedy routine, and now she's the what's it called, the bokeh, whatever it's called. She's the funny person, and we're like, knock it off. The Red Hood influence, yeah. I think it's just really funny to me. But like I said, good on her for knowing what she wants, I guess. They spot you for the sandwich and then instantly punt a puppy. They must maintain neutrality at all times. Strange how that works, right? Strive, Stave. Hey, hope you all had a good day. I hope you had a great day too. I would say I had a good day. It's just that it was one of those days where at the end of it, I just felt really tired and a little bit sad in some ways. Compliment yourself. Never seen her so slutty as well. Yeah, it's so wild. It was something that, like, I'm not gonna lie, Murdoch. When I opened up the costume gotcha, I was like, "Who is that?" And then I read the name. I was like, "No way, that's wild." Came in and out of context and hear Red Hood and thinking Batman. Not that person. The different. Basically, a popular gotcha game, Nikkei got us a victory is having a summer event, and it's kind of wild. But no matter how wild Nikkei gets, I see gameplay of Brown Dust 2, and then don't go looking that game up unless you're okay with like full frontal, like, damn, that's a whole lot of skin, right? Don't go looking that one. But if you know, you know, and you understand as much as I do, like, no matter what Nikkei does, it just seems to be one step behind how blatantly up in your face that game is. Brown Dust 2. This is close to Brown Dust 2. This event feels like Brown Dust 2. This event feels like the guys behind Nikkei saw Brown Dust 2 and thought, we gotta compete. We gotta step up our game just a little bit. I already got a thirst game, don't need two. Yeah. Dang, that's a lot of skin. I know. But yeah, in terms of complimenting myself, honey, I'm a smart individual. I am very capable. I am driven. I am a kind person who cares about others. I am talented. I have a great voice. I am good at video games. I adapt very quickly to things. I understand. Well, actually, this reminds me of a time I talked with my cousin years ago during Thanksgiving. And they asked me what I was up to, and I just said, oh, I did this, this, and that. And they said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't ask you for a list of your accomplishments, right? I just wanted to know what you've been up to. And that conversation has stuck with me ever since. And sometimes I'm talking about myself, and I realize that I always put these things in a light where it sounds more like I'm listing off things I think are good about myself rather than actually complimenting myself. Like, I'm looking at things I'm good at rather than things I think genuinely like. You know what? I'll give myself the one very important compliment that I think that really does matter when someone told it to me. I think I'm a good person. I think that's an important place to start. Anyway, sorry to do this to you in the middle of this conversation, but we gotta go do an ad break for 3 minutes. Use the restroom, get some water, do what you gotta do, alright? I'll meet you back here in a bit. Welcome back. Hope you had a good ad break. I think you're a good person too. Thank you, Wander. Hope you're doing good though, Marco. Man, Lies of P is such a good game. Hopefully the DLC before it goes on sale soon. I want to play it. I think you're a good person, a great friend, a wonderful listener, funny, and overall a very nice person. There's a reason people want to be around you. That's just me, though. I can agree with those things. Those are all things people have told me. And I think those are all things I've also worked on over time. Solid 7.3 out of 10. Too much cheese. Where? I've gotten the same cheese ad 3 times in a row? That's crazy. I just got a curtain ad with the chillest piano music. Oh, hell yeah. Thank you for the pretty music ad. I'm not buying curtains, but thanks. Heard the crickets for a moment. I thought it was crickets outside, but then realized that would be impossible, sadly. So I walked outside, heard my crickets. Oh, heck yeah. By the way, did you guys catch my message that I asked? I asked you guys to send me, because I saw you say, Stave, that I'm amazing at tongue twisters. And I was like, send me some tongue twisters. It's been a while. Treat, hey, partly pickled Pete plucked the prickly pear. Yeah, that sounds about right. Partly pickled Pete plucked the prickly pear. Yeah. I mean, you don't really need to say it fast. You just need to be able to say it accurately, right? So partly pickled Pete plucked the prickly pear. There have been times where I've just had thoughts where I just think to myself, man, I really did work on my charisma a lot, huh? Because it just seems like people like me as a person. Like, it's not something I sell as a part of myself. I don't go out and say, yeah, I'm a people person. Well, I mean, I do say that I have a better time working with people than not. But I don't go out of my way to just be like, yeah, I'm charismatic. I will say other people are like charismatic. I say that. I think there are people who are much better networkers than I am. Bro got so much riz. Don't try me. Don't try me. You ever think about how romantic someone could be, but they just never had the chance to do so? I think about that sometimes. Like, people who only read romances probably have all the lines just locked away in their brain for, like, when they actually start dating somebody. They just never date someone for, like, one reason or another. Sometimes they have social anxiety. By the way, I have a box of honeydew melon now on me, so I don't want to eat into the mic, though, but you can watch me chew. I used to be more people person, but people ruined it. I get that. I used to be more comfortable around people, but then I had some traumatic experiences, and now I am sometimes afraid of people. Like, thankfully, I have a background of being fearless, so I can just go up to people and talk. I have no issue with that. I think people are just people. And also don't get stage fright. Like, I'm able, like, a crowd of 10 and a crowd of 100 is the same to me. It makes no difference. I don't get stage fright, funny enough. Performance anxiety is a different thing entirely, though, right? It's like you have to get a perfect in a rhythm game, and you just, like, constantly thinking about that, and that makes it harder, and then your hands start shivering. Like, oh no! That's something else, right? It has less to do with the people and more to do about the thought of having to do something perfectly. Bro got so much riz. Remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. Have you ever seen an eerie thing as eerie as a creepy pickle peeper? Nope, not a tongue twister when I read it. All good. I have a personal tongue twister I invented a while ago. You see if you guys can say this one as I type it out. Depressing as it is, it's actually pretty hard to say. You do got Rizdura? Mm-hmm. I used to be... Wait, I already read that. That's why I read exclusively Wattpad romance stories, so I'm prepared for every situation. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take a bite again. Caught a Bronze stream. Today's a good day. I always appreciate it though when, like, me just being here does cheer people up. Like I said, you don't have to be amazing. I just think you need to be here. And for some people, that's a lot harder than others, I realize, as I continue to see more and more of the world, right? Some people are really, really cool people, but then will disappear on you for months. And it can be one reason or another. Some people have ups and downs. Some people just need to get away, or some people just get really, really distracted and get lost in life. So I don't know. I think consistency does speak for itself in some ways. And lately, more than ever, compared to my first years of streaming, I'm much less consistent. But that's probably because I've just been doing more and more with my time outside of streaming. Because streaming used to be like a kind of a priority, especially after I lost my job. I was like, I'm just going to go at it, and I did. But I realized that well, as good as I am at doing certain things, I'm very bad at marketing myself sometimes. Like, chasing after money is not my strong suit, because as much as I need money, I don't care for it very much, right? I don't spend a lot of it, at least compared to other people, and my self-control on things is very high. You know? Like, I spend money if I have to, but it's just not something that is the be-all, end-all for me, because I just think there's more important things in life than money. That being said, though, you do need it to survive if you live in a capitalist economy. Didn't seem like a tongue twister until I tried reading it. Yeah, try reading that one out loud. Gotta say, this has been a very chill first stream to have caught. Appreciate it. I am that last category. I just go on a side quest and vanish for months on end. Yeah, I totally get that, right? And I never judge people for it. I do think that sometimes there are repercussions to the choices you make, of course, right? But it's not like something I can judge people for. That's not my job. Your job's never to judge people, unless that's literally your job. American Idol. No. What's up, M9? After eating fried chicken? Heck yeah. Congrats on 3K. Thank you. It's one of those days, though. This one is not a tongue twister, but sucks. I read you shouldn't lead people on eating lead. You should read on it. Yeah. Sorry, English major can't be tripped up by simple words sometimes, especially if I'm paying attention. If you have any spare money that you don't want, you can always give to me. No, I need that money, sorry. Like, even though I don't care about money, doesn't mean I won't keep an iron grip on it. Right? If I had so much more disposable income, you know I'd be throwing that at all my friends. Although that actually sometimes breeds more trouble than worth. You ever had that? Like, you ever read those stories or hear about them where someone wins the lottery and then it brings nothing but misery upon their life? Because then everyone they know starts asking them for money or treating them like they have disposable income more than everyone else. Like, oh, they're rich, they don't need to worry about it. Or like, oh, they have so much money, they can just pay for everybody. Like, oh, I don't need to pay them back. They make more than enough, right? The amount you make will actually affect how people treat you. Right? And that's why a lot of people aren't too keen to tell you if they won the lottery or how much they make on an average basis. If I won the lotto, I'd be evil. Use my funds to help others donate. I think so, right? But I also see all these different posts like, I can't afford rent this month. I need to change my tires on my car, or else I can't go to work. And these are all very important and immediate things, but man, it just sucks to see it, you know what I mean? I had this thought the other day too, on my way back during commute, right? But lately, there have been a lot of homeless people with signs standing like right at the little island at the head of the intersection, right? Like, every time a car stops at a red light, the homeless people will be right there just looking at the cars, walking around, asking for change. And this is awkward for everybody involved because the homeless person's as used to it as they are still has to go around accepting rejections from everybody, and everybody in their car either has to pretend he doesn't exist or look at him and give him a stern no, and then after that think about how to feel about it. Right? The other day I had this happen to me. I got the unfortunate role of being the guy at the head of the intersection, which means I was the first one. And he looked at me and I looked at him and I was like, I turned away, and both he and I knew, like, yeah, no, you're not getting anything from me. But it makes me feel really bad. And part of me thinks like it was more important for me for him to understand that I felt bad about it than it was to say I have no money to give. That's kind of funny how that works. But either way, right? Like, it's such a shitty thing to do. Like, I get it. Some people have no other choice but to beg, but if you haven't exhausted every option yet, could you spare us all the moment of having to feel guilty about the fact that we live in a society that creates homeless people in the first place? Right? That's not my fault. But also, you make it feel like it's my fault for not giving you money, when in reality, I've done nothing wrong. Right? It's the whole, I don't know, it's a philosophy question for sure. Like, Kantian ethics? I don't know what to call it. Philosophy was not my major. But it's one of those moral conundrums, right? I tried. Yes, you did. If I suddenly became rich, I wouldn't tell anyone and would not have most of that money invested into the government because I'm a hobo and don't spend a lot of it regardless of how much I have. I mean, I'll be honest with you, all right? During the Great Depression of America, a lot of people who did not have faith in the banks were the people who actually ate the most because they hid all their money in the walls of their house. So they turned out okay, whereas everyone else who invested money in the banks ended up really poor. That's why I always just say, I don't have any cash. It's the nicest way I know how to say it. No, it does suck though. That's true. A lot of people only accept cash. Although lately some people have been like, I take Venmo or whatever because they still have their phone for some reason. I don't know. Off topic, but oh my god, I can't believe I've heard BT dubs being used in 2025 for Uma Musume of all things. BT dubs. Fabulous. I saw a kid that sat with a plastic bucket with no cadence or rhythm. He made more than I did, working twice as long selling tours. Damn. It's because of their youth though, right? You are less likely to donate to a fully grown man than you are to a child, because a child seems like they deserve it more. When they say that, I just hit the Irish exit and walk away without saying anything. I've been hearing this one a lot too. The Irish goodbye, which is to say, leave without saying goodbye. Because apparently the Irish don't believe in farewells. They always believe we'll meet up again someday somehow. I think that's how it goes anyway. Patrick VC.
I have an idea. Let's leave. What if we took the town and pushed it over there?
Something, something. I once Irish farewelled my own graduation on accident. You left without saying anything to anybody there at the graduation of all things? That's pretty crazy. Like, not that anyone could fault you for it, but also like, whoa. Exactly. Exactly. I try to remember what I was talking about earlier. Right, the homeless thing and all that. Even before that. Charisma, huh? It's not like I don't pay attention. to things around me, I notice like people want to hang out with me. I notice that people need me for different things, and it's good to feel wanted. It's good to feel depended on. Sometimes attention is both a blessing and a curse because, you know, you end up giving away a lot of your time because you care, as opposed to whatever else, right? But it's like I said, it's like an investment. The time that you put into people never really goes to waste. At least if the people that you put time into are good people anyway. There's some people you put time into and they will not give time to you back. And at that point, you understand that it's a one-sided conversation and you can leave at any time. And nothing bad will come of it. Hey, you with the face. You're a good Beano. Oh my goodness. Bloody Skull Man. It's good to see you. You're good with puns too. I remember that. Every time I see Bloody Skull Man, I'm just like, I'm gonna get a pun today, aren't I? I didn't see them and I figured they left, so I just left as I was tired. I see. I mean, that's understandable, right? It's been a long day, even standing for God knows how long, waiting for your diploma to be handed to you. Like, you could just go home at that point. I think my tradition after graduating, because I've graduated like 3 times now. Once for high school, once for my bachelor's, and once for my master's degree. And each time we just went out and got something to eat after. Actually, funny enough, oh wait, no. I did get something to eat, but I realized that I didn't have a ceremony for when I graduated from my master's program. Because that was during the pandemic. I have a master's degree? I do have a master's degree. You have a master's? How? Why is this new information to people? I have a master's in creative writing. I told you guys already. I have a bachelor's in, like, teaching English. My minor was in what's called technical writing, which is a type of writing that is basically everything that isn't creative writing. Like, stuff you write for billboards and advertisements and instruction manuals. Right? That's technical writing. Or script writing for, like, podcasts and commercials, I guess. That's also tech writing. Or actual, like, stuff for tech. Dro. Hello, welcome in. Dang, you smart? Kinda. I would say that the bar for graduating with the creative writing masters is a little lower than other master's degrees, because in other master's degrees you had to put out a thesis on like research and stuff like that. Whereas for me, I just had to write 3 like critical essays and put out a poetry collection. Well, the poetry collection I put out was like just okay in my opinion because I was still so young at the time. I think if I were, I mean, I've been trying to put together a poetry collection for a while now. And the thing, well, when I say put together, I mean sit down and actually put the thing together. I did it once last year, and the person who was willing to publish me said, oh, I think you could be a little more cohesive, because right now it just seems a little scattered. And it's been almost a year since I've messaged them about it, because I've gone back and forth on the drafts and all that. I've worked on it, but I just haven't had the chance to actually sit down and put it all together and finalize it. And as much as it's important to me, it's one of those things where I said, right, because it doesn't have a solid due date, it hasn't been on the urgent list for a while now, and it's been making me a bit, it's been driving me a little nuts, right? It's one of those things where I don't get super mad about it, but rather I think about it and I just get a little depressed because it's one of those things where you did a lot today, but you also didn't do the thing you really wanted to do. And that's the kicker, right? I didn't know about it. I don't remember this. Wow, poggers. If you get your doctorate, you'll be Dr. Bronze. People have already joked like Master Bronze, but Master and Bronze, those two words don't belong in the same sentence for ranking up. At any rate, though, I will say what I have is a terminal degree. This means that it's the farthest I can go in that direction for my particular expertise. So as a result, I'm actually qualified to be a college professor. The only issue is that, oh, thank you for the head pat. The only issue is that you can't actually teach at a college unless you have enough experience or accolades. And I have neither of those things because I tried my hand at teaching a little bit, and as fun as it is helping out kids, it's a lot. There's a lot of bureaucracy involved and a lot of homework for your own self because you have to put together lesson plans and all that. For some people, it's a lot easier, but for me, I guess even less about the work, right? And even less about the relationships between teachers in the faculty room. Because I did like part-time gigs and all that, or guest teaching. And what I realized after teaching like several periods of classes as a guest poet, it's not that my heart wasn't in it, but sometimes I would feel like the kids, right? Where as fun as the activity is, sometimes my mind is elsewhere. And I realized that because of that, I feel like I wouldn't make the best teacher in the traditional sense. As a traveling teacher here and there to give lectures and stuff like that, even on the internet, right? I think I do a really good job of that. You know, teaching is not hard for me. The issue is teaching in a classroom setting is sometimes very difficult because you have to keep it structured and you have to set certain expectations and be strict about things. And I just can't help but like enable people to just do whatever they want, and that's kind of bad in a classroom. Granted, I haven't actually tried teaching like high schoolers or anything like that. I've taught middle schoolers and elementary schoolers. I've also helped college students in a creative writing course one time, but I've never actually taught high schoolers, and I think that's a different experience entirely. It's chronic? Excuse me? Professor Braun. Professor Braun, can I get a bonus points on my exam? Depends. What, like, did you do the extra credit portion of it? Can I go to the bathroom? You don't need my permission. It's a college course. Here's what you want to do. Put on Billy Nye the Science Guy and put your head down. I would love to do that, but that's for like, you can't do that all the time. Otherwise, Bill Nye is going to take my job. Thank you for giving the bird a head pat. Professor Braun, can we play Guilty Gear in the classroom? Do it after class. We're working right now. Cut the Bronsois, thank you very much. Says who/J. But they don't call the horse, but they don't have cell phones. Depends on what horse you're talking about. Wait, do the horses in Uma Musume don't have do they really not have cell phones? That can't be right. No, they definitely have phones. I feel like there might be a school type. Yeah, they have phones. There might be a school type that could be best for your teaching style, but like most, I personally don't know what it is. I think a guest lecturer would probably be the best thing for me. But to do that, I would need to be a much more accomplished personality and presence in the actual writing community. And to do that, I actually have to do stuff. I'm actually active in my local community. Everyone knows who I am. But I think, I mean, you know, I had more people today after I did my poetry reading, because I did poetry reading today too for an event, and afterwards everyone came up to me and said, "You have a great voice. Have you considered audiobooks? I would listen to your audiobook. You have such a nice calming voice. You would help me sleep at night." And I say, of course, every single time, "Thank you so much. Yeah, I've thought about it, definitely." And then I went home and I just started sighing to myself again. It's just like another day where I just didn't do the recordings. I didn't make that audio reel that I thought I was going to do this weekend. You know, I've often wondered, is it the thing? Do people regret more often the things they've done or the things that they didn't do? I guess it would depend on the person and what kind of life they lived. But I definitely do know that it's the things that you have done that will haunt you more than things that you haven't. The things that you haven't done will loom over you. But the things that you have done that you regret will haunt you in a different way. And it comes creeping on at the worst moments sometimes. Things I didn't do, at least for me. Why not small community workshops? Actually, I'm going to be giving a workshop in September. Or not September, August. At my local community thing. So that's going to be interesting. I already have the whole lesson plan done out, but I have to do a little more like work before it happens. So That's gonna be a whole thing. Hmm. What's the worst that can happen? I learned something probably. Hi, Looney. Congrats on 3K. Thank you. Long time coming, huh? My mind would be free if I didn't remember my middle school till high school self. Yeah. Thank you for the head pad, Looney. It's one of those nights. I know a lot of people expected reading and writing, but I just really needed this time. Just decompress a little bit, I guess. So I hope you guys don't mind. Once again, I need to reiterate, I don't do this type of stream so that people feel bad for me. I do it for myself because I know it'll make me feel better. As in, like, me streaming. The act of streaming makes me feel better. What happens when Rick Moranis puts on his glasses? He can suddenly see more. Oh, suddenly see more is standing beside me. Don't need no makeup, etc. Senko 2022. Hello. Do you like sourdough bread or dildo bread? I did read that out loud. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hearing words in any form is good. I don't know about that, Bella. I don't know about that. Considering what I just said, but yeah. Appreciate the levity in this time. I was supposed to draw more this summer, but I barely did that. That's fair. But, you know, no harm, no foul, right? At least I tried cooking more different foods. Hey, there's that, you know? Well done, though. That's a new one. I'll have to remember that one. Say, Senko, have you ever played chess? Have you ever considered the move E10? I do regret my message. Where I walked into that? I did walk into that. Hold on, I gotta eat again. Sorry, I was eating. I read this in my head, and I can't seem to think if there's actually a pun to this one. I'll say it out loud. I used to play chess in Grippy Sock Hospital, though. No, I can't hear it. I can't hear a pun here. I was gonna say E10. Eating these nuts. That's a bad one, but at the same time, that's one my friend taught me one. I was like, oh, that's a good one, though. Dill in dough sounds good. I'm not a big pickle person, but I get it, though. Got him. I'm gonna take another bite of honeydew melon. From where I'm from, dill bread actually exists. I'd believe it, actually, because you can make bread out of a lot of different things. Pickle dough bread seems like it's one of those things where it would work if you like pickles, right? I don't particularly like pickled things because sour tastes that aren't really citrusy aren't really my vibe. Fermented things taste funny, and I don't like it. Dill is just a seasoning. Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm thinking of dill pickles. Well, now you have me curious. Let me look this up real quick. Dill seasoning. according to this, dill seasoning is a blend of dried herbs, primarily featuring dill weed, which adds a bright herby flavor to various dishes. It is commonly used to enhance the taste of fish, vegetable dips, and salads. Interesting. Although, for some reason, though, it's mainly featured with, like, what's it called? It always, well, okay, actually, no, it's half and half. Some of them just say dill seasoning, and the others want to say dill seasoning, like dill pickle seasoning. It's very strange. Dill is lovely in bread. I'd believe it. Sourdough is also really good. This is just my personal opinion, but I think sourdough goes best with, like... Oh, thank you for giving the bird his hat. I think sourdough goes first best with clam chowder, and then secondly with cheese. Well, certain cheeses, of course. Not all cheeses work with sourdough, but a lot of them do. I love to truly sourdough with dill butter. Allow me to parse that sentence a little bit. Sour bread with melted butter, some fresh herbs. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Like, you spread some butter on sourdough. Well, I guess you could either... I'm thinking of whether you should toast the sourdough first, or whether you should let the butter sit on the sourdough, then toast it, right? Like garlic bread. Of course, then that's the question. Do you add the herbs after or before? It really depends on what kind of herbs, though. Try not truly. Oh, I'd love to try sourdough with dill butter. I object. Sourdough is good with any cheese. Hey, just eat. I mean, it is good with like most cheeses, right? I'm not really sure if like the creamier cheeses are good with sourdough though, because I've tried like, well, I guess no, cream cheese could work with sourdough. I just think some cheeses are better with it. The stronger cheeses, for example. I'm not too big on sourdough. Like I said, it depends on what it is, right? But if you've had, like, I've had fresh sourdough before, and it was really good. Pan-fry the bread with hot butter. Oh, now you're talking. Eat what you want. No need to get political about cheese. Fair. Congrats. Thank you, Gamba. Appreciate it. It's one of those days there, though, where I'm just really tired, and I'm worried about the future and all that, but, you know, being on stream helps me. I need to make focaccia now. I'm craving it. Oh. Focaccia bread, also good. I can't stop laughing all day. Murdoch! Murdoch! Is this Animal Crossing music? It is. This is 12 a.m. in Animal Crossing New Leaf. Me when my friend is so goddamn cool? Yes. I also think you're cool. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. Focaccia bread goes hard. Maybe it's because my little exposure to it is Cheesecake Factory bread. You need to eat better bread, honey. You need to go and meet some bakers. You need to go to an actual, like, bakery and get yourself some fresh bread. Like, Cheesecake Factory ain't it, honey. I'm trying. I know. Not everyone has availability to a good bakery, but know a guy who knows a guy, right? Either that or get a sourdough starter. Oh my god. Have you been to an actual bakery and got like fresh off the morning cannolis? Ooh. Literally heaven? Kinda want a cannoli now. Wait, no, hold on. I just tried good sushi this past weekend. Yeah, how'd you like it? Bella wants to know too. Mom and pop shop. I agree. It's always those hole-in-the-wall shops, right? That always have the banger food. My brother was telling me how he was in Wisconsin for a minute, right? On an internship. And he was craving some Asian food. And just no Asian food anywhere. And then he finds this one place where it's like hole-in-the-wall shop. And he, you know, this is what he told me, that it's just like run by maybe one, like a husband and wife, and they got little children running around the place coloring crayons and stuff. And that's how my brother knew, oh yeah, this shit gonna be some banger food. You know what I mean? I'm glad you liked it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes being a European pays on good bread. Other times I have no GG matches and just want to move. Yeah. Right. Being Europe is probably the most awkward place to get matches from. Because Asia is self-contained in terms of all the matches they get. East and West Coast of and the South America people all can play with each other for the most part. And then it's the Europeans that are located on the opposite end of both places. I mean, you're closer to Asia than you are to the Americas, I think. Except for East Coast, but even then, right? So you have to play with each other, and even then, there's not that many people playing in Europe, which kind of sucks. It's always a mom-pop shop where you know the shop is also their home. Yeah, exactly. Like, their home is just upstairs from the shop. Come to me and I'll bake you anything you want, you poor thing. You poor thing, honey. I tried conveyor belt sushi restaurant with, oh wow, you were together. And everything was so wild. A little raw gives us drinks. It was really tasty. Oh yeah. I've seen those restaurants. They're very funny. Like, the little robot will come over. Like, it's just one of those moving trays, right? That carries a tray of drinks. And they don't actually hand it to you. What they, like, there's little music that accompanies it. And it comes over to your table, smiles at you, turns around, and the backside of it is where all the drinks and stuff are located, and you take the drinks off, and then it wheels away to go get more deliveries. I do hope you get good rest. Here's to even more big ups onward. Thank you very much. The thing that really kills me, though, is the fact that the 3,000th follower is named Gay Kisser Ott. I'm not joking. AUT, whatever, underscore AUT. But yeah, congratulations, Gay Kisser, on being my 3,000th follower. Beautiful. I can't make this shit up, man. I felt so country being out with cookies and our friend Ice Dash. The highlight of my little town is an Arby's. Oh my god. I wonder how far out you had to go for that, huh? Excuse me for a second. Sorry, you guys get to see me chew, but you don't get to hear me eat anymore. I went back to an old VOD, I heard myself eat, and I was like, that is kind of obnoxious, actually. We're not doing that anymore. I don't get exposed to diverse restaurants. Yeah, your friends got to get you out. Sadness, JK, you don't want to hear me eating. It's gonna sound real wet too, because it's honeydew melon. I can bake well. I don't bake a lot of bread though. That's a milestone. Thank you very much. I'll never forget who my 100th follower was. I don't know if I should say the handle here, though. Ken DM. If you want to. I'm not going to stop you. No free ASMR. Some call it SMR. Make out of it. Huh? What does ASMR stand for again? I always forget. Something like auto-binaural or whatever it's called. ASMR. Here we go. It stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. So, all right. I'm not gonna remember that. Make money out of it? I mean, yes. Some people just want to fire up a YouTube video and hear people eat. That's just called a mukbang, though, and I'm not that kind of guy. As much as I can eat, I feel like if I did that regularly, I would put on so much weight, and that's not okay. Like, I may not have the perfect body, but I'm also trying to, you know, get rid of excess fat when I can. It's just that, man, that's another thing, right? I have to make time to go to the gym and exercise. Whatever time you want to put into something, that means you have to take time away from something else. And honestly, I'm kind of tired of taking time away from my sleep schedule. That one is bad. I lived like that for a while, and now I'm a little afraid of how much hair I might have lost from that. Like, there were just days where it was just like, man, there's a lot of like little. It's not like a lot, like clumps fell out, but it was just like every single day. It was just like maybe 1 or 2 strands would just be there, and I was just like, And day by day, I was like, huh. I could have sworn I had more hair at some point, and I was right. Oh my. I mean, it's not like I'm balding, guys. I have a lot of hair still. It's just that, like, I wouldn't say thinning either, but it's one of those things where, like, if you really pull back the curtain, you can just notice, like, huh, there's definitely more hair there before. Congrats on becoming bald, throat goat. I always say, if you're Asian, you're either gonna, like, you're either gonna lose, like, genetically, you either go bald or your hair gets white real fast. I love non-spicy Indian food. It's pretty good. I agree. My brain forgot to write money. I'm just joking. I do not even like SMR. Super Mario Brothers. Someone I know has a redeem specifically for him to torture people eating Pop Rocks. I have redeems that torture people too, but the problem is that they also give me psychic damage. If someone redeems it right now, I'm refunding you immediately. We're not doing that right now. Did I thank Bloody Skullman for the 10 bits? I definitely read the message, but I didn't say thank you for the 10 bits, which makes me the idiot. Brother, you're stressing? That's why some mukbang fellas work out a lot to compensate. That's fair. Another redeem to block that redeem. That was me with my siren redeem. You could redeem loud sirens, then someone could redeem them to turn them off. And then I realized that that's kind of ineffective, so I stopped doing that. I don't exercise, but I started trying this low-carb protein powder. Well, that's some interesting stuff. I'm going to keep silent about my hair, but good hair. Thanks, Murdoch. Funny, I don't remember having my toggle on for the eyes, but I guess that's on now. I kind of like, well, I don't really mind it, actually. Because sometimes it's just like, well, how did that one get you? I don't know. Thanks for head-patting the bird, though. Bald Goriyuki. I don't exercise. No, I just read that. So true. Nagoriyuki Guilty Gear. Mutual psychic damage. We shake hands, and then regret shaking hands. You go in for the handshake, but they went in for the fist bump. You try to correct yourself, but they also corrected. I need to stop eating the honeydew melon.
Remember when you agree that when you hit 30,000 followers that you celebrate by giving me 30,000 chestoberry. Pay up.
We agreed to no such thing, and I will not allow you to gaslight me. Why is the hand part of cheek? Oh, that? See, I can't actually attach anything to the bird. So I have to, like, attach it to the next best thing. Which is, this. Good enough, I guess. Because normally I'd be facing this way for a lot of things I do. But because today is a bit different, I'm facing the other direction, which makes it a little bit funny to look at. Another ad break in 10 minutes already? Jeez, I haven't really done anything, but at the same time, I guess I've been having a good time. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I guess I'm just trying to think how I'm going to proceed, right? I want a career doing what I want to do. I'm not doing that right now. It's Potato Pat, thanks. So how do I do that, right? And I guess the plan is to just, well, I want to be consistent with streaming, but like I said, I think the plan is just to stream less And by less, I mean I'll stream on more days, or just the same amount of days, I guess, but I have to keep streams shorter, right? But also it feels bad because some people will miss streams if they're only 2 hours long. I feel we're at the same crossroads. I get you. I get you. Although, I have nothing but respect for you, considering how knowledgeable you are at things. How useful would a fully articulate cheek hand be? I guess you could use it to grip onto certain things. I think I used the wrong word. Articulate? That might be the wrong word, actually. That usually means being able to speak well. I myself have been doing the opposite end. That's fair. You've been doing what you want to do, but you're not necessarily where you want to be yet. My body told me no anything this week, so I didn't, and my body is happy. Huh. On to GOAT? The greatest of all time. The greatest to ever do it. I have the most respect for you. You're out here working, streaming, growing as a person. Yeah. I pat myself on the back for that, but at the same time, sometimes I take that... I wouldn't say I take it for granted as much as thinking of it as par for the course. And so... I was talking about this earlier, how sometimes when you set yourself up for the expectation, right? Like, you should be at this point, then it kind of takes away from, like, the specialty of it. The novelty of it, I guess. Like, some people would be very happy to place higher than, like, 0-2 at a tournament. Whereas I go, like, 3 or 4-2, and I'm just thinking, yeah, that's about par for the course. That's pretty good. That's a pretty okay. I'm getting to where I want to be. You know what I mean? Whereas people would be like, yeah, I was 1 away from top 8. I don't know. Appreciate your perspective and insight. I value it highly. I do think that things I value do differ a little bit for some people, and because of that difference is what people appreciate about it. My mom used to make fun of me a lot, or nag me about how long it would take me to do things. Like, I would be slow to move, slow to think, slow to do a lot of different things. And for years on end, my New Year's resolution would always be to do things faster, right? But at some point, I started to see it as a boon in some ways. Because of the fact that I didn't hurry, I was able to take my time on certain things and enjoy things to a fuller extent. I'm able to slow down where other people might pass over stuff. You know? Being grounded, I think, is a virtue in and of itself. Ron is the GOAT. I'm becoming a feral animal with horns and slitted eyes. No, I'm kidding. It's important to stop to smell the flowers. When I coached, I told my students to keep a happy document logging their milestones, achievements, even little ones. Yeah, we talked about this, right? Taking little like little W's for yourself and all that. It's not like I don't. Like, I even patted myself on the back for today's setup. I was like, I want to make today have the right atmosphere, and so it's great that I have this setup that makes it look like I'm outside and in front of a campfire. So that's cool. That's an amazing idea. Can I low-key steal it? Yeah. Like, I think it's important to recognize when you get things done. But I was talking about this earlier again, and I don't mind repeating myself on this particular thing, but even when you get praise from all these different people, right? All sorts of people from different parts of your life, sometimes they end up getting drowned out by you wanting recognition from one particular person or people in your life. And that can sometimes make you devalue the good things that people say about you, or the good things and W's that you take for yourself, right? I gave this example. I hit 3,000 followers today. That's a big deal. That's a big milestone, right? Not many people get this far. And yet, I know that if I were to tell people in real life that I know about it, they'll either say, oh, that's cool, or they'll just say, that's it? That's only that much, right? And it kind of devalues it a little bit. And so one of the hardest things is to be able to just put more stock and value in your own recognition, right? Being your own biggest cheerleader and having that be enough for yourself, that's hard to do. That's not easy. Reward yourself for them. Be that person for yourself that cheers you on or spoils you rotten on the odd occasion. Hey, Aster. Good to see you. Welcome in. Hold on, I'm taking that. Gamba always has good ideas. I thought about it myself today. Had a bit of a mental crumble over past failures and what-ifs, but I reminded myself of what I've done good and how much I've grown. Left me feeling so much better about myself. Yeah. Like, there are times I always think to myself, like, I could be doing so much better without always remembering that I've done a lot of good already. And sometimes even the simplest things mean a lot to different people, right? Never take for granted the time you spend with people, too, and the time you invest in doing the things that you do, right? Hours that you spend hanging out with friends do mean something to someone. If not anyone, then at least you much, right? Amen. Enjoy life at a comfortable pace. If you aren't late, you're good. So enjoy life, or I will force you all to enjoy life. I feel like I am enjoying life. I don't want to interrupt the speech. No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm just talking about stuff today because I'm tired. And I know a lot of people were looking forward to what's the word? Reading and writing and relaxing on a Sunday, but like I said, I felt like it was important to just take this time for myself today. And we reached 2,000 followers today, and so, you know, that's good. That's a good thing. I'm feeling a little burnt out of life. Yeah. I think that's the space for today. Talking about, like, today is what I would call one of those internet checkpoints, right? Where you just need to take a moment and just check in with where you are. I think that's important to do. Ghetto Sage, I believe that's what it's supposed to be. Thank you for the follow, I appreciate that. Welcome in. I just realized, well, I mean, I guess that should be there. Let's see, alerts in front. Feels weird if it isn't in the front like this. Oh well, we'll see what happens though. Now, unfortunately, we do need to take an ad break. I need to sleep nighty-night. Or nighty-all. Thank you so much, Dave. Appreciate your presence. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you have a great night. And hope you get to treat yourself soon. I feel like I never hurry with stuff I want to do, but I still have an anxiety of going too slow. Yeah, I was just talking about this actually pre-air. It does nothing, guys. It does nothing. I was just talking about this, right? How when I try to get things done, right, I always separate things into piles of sinful. What was I saying? It's two piles. Piles of this is urgent and this is important. If something is important but not urgent, and then it takes a back seat, which is sometimes something is less important but it's more urgent because of the fact it's due sooner. I will do those first, right? And so for a lot of the important things in my life that I want to do, right? Like I want to develop a better portfolio. I want to start investing in myself when it comes to social media. I want to start doing more of my creative projects that might be more of a commitment. All those things don't have a time, like a due date to have them done. And so a lot of those things have taken kind of a back seat in my life, and that's not, like, it's basically resulted in me kind of running around in circles instead of getting to the place I want to be. And so I had to think about how to approach that. And part of that, I think, means trading in time for other things. But yeah, I'll see you guys in about 3 minutes. Go get some water, use the restroom, do what you got to do. And I'll see you guys in a bit, all right? Welcome back. Hope you had a good ad break. I'm gonna go to bed and chat. Have a good night. Thank you, Sinful. Take care of yourself. Get a good rest. And come back anytime. Thanks for coming. I think today told me that tomorrow I'm gonna go for a walk and meditate on some stuff. Yep, never underestimate the power of just being outside. Sometimes it does a lot for you and your mental health. Funny enough, I'm also going to bed now. Alright, Bella, thanks for sticking around, alright? Everybody take care, get good rest, and you know, I'll be here. Good night, people. Thank you for the stream. Yeah, good night, everybody. I was gonna say, is it alright if I read another poem? What am I saying? Of course it's alright, but I'm gonna read another poem of mine. Just because I feel like it's a good thing to do. I'm just trying to think, what do I want to read? I miss Bella. Old Garland. We'll definitely play Rivals of Aether 2 again, though, for sure. It's local crossed armed frog Garland. Garland's unsatisfied with you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't speak for Garland. Garland speaks for himself. Oh, flashbang. Let me see here. You know, I've always liked this poem. Happy 3,000 followers. Thank you, Ryo. That reminds me. I keep forgetting I was going to hit you up about something, but I keep forgetting to do it. Oh, it's because I didn't have the draft ready yet. I was going to send you something, but I have to work on it a little more. Congrats on 3K. Thank you, Lorian. Welcome in. But yeah, you guys aren't going to believe this, though, but my 3,000th follower was named, Gay Kisser. You can't make this up, man. Well, we're currently at 3,001, so that's cool. A prophet? What? I know. I can't make this up, man. I mean, after that clip about what you said about two guys kissing, don't nod to that. Oh my god. Look, but yeah, for people coming in, I'm tired today. Today wasn't a bad day, right? A lot of good things happened. I went to a poetry reading. I gave a poetry reading. Like, I went outside, went to the farmer's market. I was in a tournament, almost placed top 8. You know? At the same time, though, I just didn't get to do the things I want to do today. And for some reason, at the end of it, I just felt really tired. And a little down. But I still wanted to stream anyway, because I thought about, like, taking a break today. I thought about just canceling, but at the same time, I knew that streaming would make me feel better. Right? Not because I would expect other people to say nice things to me, but even if no one showed up, right? Even if no one did, I think just having the space for myself would make me feel better. And if this ends up making someone else feel better today too, then I think that's a good thing. You know? I'm gonna go ahead and read 2 poems, actually. I'll reread this one I read at the beginning of stream, because I know some people are, you know, joining me for this. It's comforting knowing I'm not alone in feeling a certain way. I feel like a lot of people feel this way, especially with the way things being what they are. It's just really hard to do what you want to do nowadays, and sometimes doing what you want to do is really the only way forward right now. Because the traditional way of doing things is falling by the wayside given the circumstances of the world right now. Well, here, I wrote this poem the other day. It's called Tentatively This Year. I do not need permission, but I seek it. To claim this time for myself. To put my stake on this piece of history. And say that this will be the year. The year of triumph. The year of passion. The year of progress, of love and forgiveness. A year of beauty. A year of overcoming all that troubles me and beyond. I want to be someone that declares it. To have the confidence to say, I deserve this. To carve space for myself and not compare my own shadow to those of giants. I hesitate to be the prophet of my own destiny, lest my hubris cause pain to those around me. But if I can allow myself this want, that the only permission I really needed was my own, then let it be this wish, that this will be the year I let go of shame and anger, of self-loathing and carelessness. This will be the year that I take another step without fear or judgment. This will be the year that I allow myself to breathe without clutter. The year that self-care comes with grace and time. The year that skin is treated softly and sweat comes from the effort of days in a year. That hard work is a tangible thing, and each moment of repetition is a testament to living legacies. I don't like to make promises I can't keep, but tentatively, this year, I will not say, let me, but I will dream another dream and keep dreaming, to create more than I consume, to make my voice one that can change the world, to grow love in my life in ways that continue to flourish. When my self-esteem finally stops saying, is it really okay for someone like me? No matter how slow I go, this will be the year I do not stop. Thank you. Let's rock. Missed myself a Soul Calibur reference. Welcome to the stage of history. Bars. This will be the year. The prompt for this one was, it's supposed to be a list poem, right? This will be the year of this will be the year of that, right? Like, very, hold on. It's supposed to be like, list of all the things that you want to do and then put them in a list poem, right? But me being the poet that I am, colored outside the lines a little bit. And I'm just like, I feel like I have a little more to say than just that much. And for those of you who might be thinking, like, I need to do big things, I need to accomplish bigger milestones, here's a second poem, okay? Small things. I think it's fine to write poetry about small things. I think it's fine that not every poem is a landmark. My poem can be just a moment, as much as a ladybug is on a blade of grass. My poem can give as much space as needed to house what the sky can show. My poem can lay a hand to cheek, press one forehead against another in earnest. It can ask a question without urgency and never require an answer. It can sit at the edge of the bed, silent, and await the sound of rain. My poem will hand you a maple leaf and ask that you remember its shape. Thank you. Wrong one. It was this one, actually. Is maple leaf is a symbol of SMT? Sorry. Can you specify what SMT stands for in this case? Because I'm not sure. A symbol of something, you mean? Oh, thank you. No, I just think that out of all the leaves I've ever held in my life, a maple leaf probably has the most distinct shape. Like, I might forget other leaves, right? But whenever I hold a maple leaf, I will always remember what it is. And that always kind of stuck with me. Shin Megami Tensei. I'm not gonna lie, I'm also a little chronically online, and I was thinking the same thing. That's why I asked, just in case. That's weird. I just ate, like, a whole bunch of honeydew melon, but suddenly my stomach is saying I'm hungry again, and I don't know why. Sorry, all good. The Shin Megami Tensei leaf. The acronym is usually something. Oh, with an H. Yeah, you're right. I mean, these days people have been using acronyms for all sorts of different things, right? Like, TS means this shit, right? People, you know, also the other thing, why have people stopped saying literally ASS and people have been using AHH a lot more? At first I thought it was just because people don't like cursing and are trying to, like, get past the filter or something like that, but now people are just doing it just to do it. Filthy mother ass is such a funny word. I agree. Yeah, what Honey and Shizu just said. They're using as a way to say ass. I don't know, everyone wants to be cool. I think it's a very silly fad, and you should just say ass. Right? I don't know. It's like, maybe it's in the same area as, like, gat as a word. Because, like, everyone was starting to say it because it was the funny thing to say. And then at some point, it just became something that kind of lost its meaning as people said it more and more. Ass is the least offensive bad word. That's what I'm saying. But it's like a slang term, you know? Sickibity Gat Riz, Ohio? Baby Gronk and Livy Dunn. The popularization of Ave, exactly. Some people just think that, like, African American vernacular English is just cooler to say than regular English, and I think that that's both flattering but also a little silly sometimes. You don't need to talk black in order to sound cool. It reminds me of when kids censored fuck with fish sticks and annoyed me to no end, because we all know what you're trying to say and it sounds so weird. I mean, for people who don't curse, though, I don't really mind if they say fudge instead of fuck. But, you know, to each their own and all that. Fudge makes sense to me. I think so. It's another one-syllable word that starts with F. But, you know, if you really want that K at the end of it, what the fire truck? frick funny because it sounds like a 9-year-old. What the frick? Sounds like you're gonna go through puberty and have your voice crack. Yeah. I just think there's more creative ways to swear, you know what I mean? Exactly, I love that, right? I think that if you really want to insult somebody, there's better ways to use your language. I think that if you want to swear and just say profanities, there's other things you could say. Although sometimes a quick F word will usually just do the trick to express your frustration at something. I love calling people dingbat. I love when you add adjectives to certain words, you know? You yellow-bellied dingbat. You dim-witted buffoon. You foolish nincompoop. You downright dastardly Nimrod. The ultimate form of cursing someone is Captain Haddock. Really? Why is that? What did Captain Haddock do? You have my attention. And now my curiosity. I aspire to that man now. Blistering barnacles. Alright, who is Captain Haddock? Bashi Bazoki. Wait, no, Bashi Bazok. Nincompoop. Dimwit. Nimrod. Lights on but no one's home. Insulting your intelligence yet again. In lieu of a high IQ. Whenever I play single-player games and fight an annoying enemy or when something bad happens, I just ass wipe. You know? Tintin's best friend. Ah, I see. Oh, that captain. I mean, asswipe's a good one. But, you know, I think we can be even more creative, right? Whenever I play in multiplayer games and find a player and only get shot, I yell at the mic. I kind of noticed, yeah. I'm almost done typing a thing for you to check out, by the way. Alright. I'm no good trying to censor myself. Understandable. Sometimes Captain Haddock will just call someone a random extinct animal, and it was so funny to me. Dodo bird. Lemmings, really. Excuse me. Sorry. Okay, I got your message, Gamba. You dodo. Someone ducking you in lobby? Call them an anthropophagus. Prophagus? Anthropophagus. Probably the latter, right? You gosh darn lily-livered, yellow-bellied, dim-witted, darn tootin', dastardly. Huh? Thanks for the head pat. Just pull from ABBA's list of insults. ABBA does have a very long list of insults, actually. I think gacha games are killing me. How many are you playing? And I swear to God, if half of them are Hoyoverse, then I think we have one. You play one. What is it? Duck, build, platypus. Temple Run. Hold on a second. I don't know if I'd call that a gacha game. Now I think Garland's pulling my leg again. I swear to God, it's gonna be like Temple Run 2, and there's actually things you can roll for. You're right. You're right. This one was made by a writer. Ostrogoth? You Brontosaurus. You Pachyderm. My personal favorite insult from the captain. Ostrogoth. Calling people like ancient human ancestors also very funny. You troglodyte. You Neanderthal. You know? Speaking of gacha, I gotta check out on my horsies. It's a good game. It's a free-to-play game. I haven't rolled anything good, but I'm doing fine. I play a gacha game called Subway Runner. That wouldn't have anything to do with Subway Surfers, would it? I kind of regret, like, wiping something out of my eyes, because now my eyes are, like, kind of refusing to open. Guys, I can't read chat if my eyes are closed. You know, some of you might not know this, but on the day I revealed this model and all that, because remember, before this, I was streaming with just the potato, and the potato doesn't open its eyes, right? And so, at the time, I told everyone to take bets on what color my eyes were, because I could actually open my eyes. I got some interesting answers, though. I think some people said brown, some people said green, some people said, like, red. A few people guessed gold, and they were correct. Can you imagine, though, if I was one of those VTubers that had, like, fox eyes that just never open all the time? That's the whole gimmick. I don't think I could bear it myself, because the eyes are the windows to the soul. You Jason of the Argonauts. You anger mine, you. No, it's Subway Surfers. Oh, god dang it. I don't roll for anything either. Yeah, I just roll for, like, things I think are cool. Otherwise, I don't have any particular wants. Once in a while. Like, I don't think I've ever felt the allure of gacha games to want to drop money on it. You Sasaki Kojiro. Who's that again? Exactly. Kukulane. Dying ass. Somebody who got killed by Musashi in Ganryujima. Quite knowledgeable you are, Garland. I would rely on you if there was ever a trivia question about anything regarding the Warring States period of Japan, or the Three Kingdoms, or the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, really. You cow cow. Oh, that's an insult. You sniveling coward. You pansy. You boot-shaking bottom feeder. Cow Cow actually did shit, though. That's fair, but no one likes Cow Cow. If you like Cow Cow, then, like, power to you, I guess, but I can't name a single person who actually liked Cow Cow. Because, God, he was annoying in the video games. Dongzhou, though? A real bastard. I can imagine. Lubu, bastard. I can believe that. However, Lubu is legendary at this point. Like, regardless of whether he was a good person or not, people speak legends about him. Yuan Shu? Bastard. Damn, even Garland has memory of which ones are bad. Okay, but... actually, does he go by Kong Ming or Zhu Liang? Right, I don't remember which one is the proper name for him. I guess he was known by both, depending on what country you remember him from. Was he cool, though? Lubu was legendary because he was good at fighting, but he betrayed quite literally every lord he fought for. Yeah, he was a bastard, alright. A legendary bastard, but a bastard nonetheless. If you think about it, wasn't he basically... Well, no, I guess... Zhu Liang, based as hell. Hell yeah. I know 2 Kong Mings, thank you. I didn't know there were 2 of them. Oda Nobunaga, that's who it was. I guess he was also a bastard, huh? At least according to history. Hu Zhao, aka Kong Ming, I see. Now we're getting into ancient history. Nobunaga, bastard, but a funny bastard. What made him funny? I'm gonna take a walk now, thank you. Congratulations on 3K. Thank you, Aster. Thank you for stopping by. I think I'll be ending stream pretty soon myself. Because like I said, I'm a little tired. But I did want to stream just a little bit. Let me see who's around. Who's awake. Who's okay. Hope you will feel better tomorrow. Thank you, Aster. I appreciate it. Tomorrow is another Monday. Tomorrow is Guilty Gear. Tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to open lobby or whatever else. Who knows? Nobunaga wasn't the smartest, had the largest army at first or anything else. He just had a conniving mind and a shit ton of ambition. I mean, you know, that's a whole, what's it called? That's an aspiration in and of itself, right? In itself. I would say so anyway. Tomorrow is a new day. Ambition can take you anywhere. You know, playing through Nice Nature's story in Uma Musume has really gotten me thinking about how, like, sometimes you don't realize it, but a lot of people end up being nice natures in their life. They only ever think of themselves as, like, side characters in someone else's story. They never really give themselves enough credit for their own ability. They never have enough ambition to chase after their dreams because they keep making excuses for themselves in that kind of same way. And I thought about that and how sometimes there have been times in my life where I felt like a nice nature. Even now, like, I don't think I have the amount of hubris to ever think of myself as a main character. But funny enough, a lot of people think of me as a very ambitious and charismatic person in that same kind of sense or regard. So I guess to some people, I'm the main character that in their story sometimes when they're feeling down on themselves. And I just don't think that's quite accurate either. I think everyone is the teller of their own story. You know? You're the writer. Write what you want. Big fan of this Francois guy. Thanks, Bread Boy. The guy was also stubborn as shit. Understandable. My ambition cannot be stopped. That sounds like a line from a video game. You do got the Riz. Hey, Hunter, what's up? We are exactly the same in that regard. I want Skibidi Riz to win every equestrian race. Everyone is the main character of their own story. Exactly. Hope the tournament went well. I was one away from top 8, but I got eliminated by Kensei, so, you know, it is what it is. It's important to give yourself and everyone else that same value. I agree with that. You know? Sometimes it's hard to recognize that kind of thing. I give everyone else that value, but I also don't want to put myself above other people in that same regard. You know what I mean? Having ambition is good, but I think it's important to recognize that you should never put yourself below or above other people. I think the goal should be to lift others up with you. I think that's the important thing. You know what I mean? There's someone I would like to raid, actually. But let me take a look here. Oh, hi, Rosie. Welcome in. Yep. For myself, I can be the hero. For someone else, I might be their Kamina. For even another, I might be the monster of the week. And for yet another, I'm merely a silhouette to fill a background to make it just a little more colorful. It's all a matter of perspective. I think it's important to just... Well, I think it's most important on how you view yourself, right? Regardless of how other people view you. Of course, some people will go out of their way to make you feel bad for being yourself, and that kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, right, you got to think about what's best for you. Because ultimately, you're the only one who knows how to live your own life. Exactly. Just do you. Right. You can't control other people's reactions. You can only control your own. And that's why fighting games never really make me mad. Because, well, I don't know. I guess I blame myself for more things than not. Right? I can't control what other people do. So the best I can do is try to react to it. Or control my own emotions about things. It's easy to get swallowed up in the fever of things, though. Like, when you're mad, you want people to know you're mad. When you're sad, you want people to know you're sad. That kind of deal. You know what I mean? I feel that I've learned to tune those out and grain of salt it. Hunter is a being that just exists and collides with others, like all other things in the world. Life is a battle of different wills in existence. That's another way to look at it for sure. Some people view life as, well, a matter of coexistence, and other people are definitely on the side of, you know, who's going to come out on top. Sometimes I want to believe that we as a society can function harmoniously, but I know that there's always going to be not just bad actors, but those who believe in different values and deciding other people's worth because of the fact that they just view themselves as superior in a lot of ways. This is just a thought process, though. It really all depends. I've had a poor habit of letting others' opinions define me. Letting go of that has been one of the best changes, and I recommend it for everyone. I agree with that. There will be people in your life that will still affect you by the things they say, but moving past that is probably one of the biggest parts of growing up, I'd say. And there might be some back and forth. There might be some times where you're going to go relapse a bit. But it's important to have a good support system in those times, right? And, well, the most important support system, though, should always be yourself, first and foremost, I think. Garland is depressed, but his soul says go cause some chaos, and so he sets out his journey solemnly. That's a little concerning, but yeah. Hope you're okay. Forgive me if this is a broad, large, and all-encompassing question. What do you want to do with your life? I just want to help people. I just want to have a good time. I just want, like, everyone to be happy. And also people who are not good to stop that. Right? I don't know if I'm ever going to be, like, one of those people that actually makes lasting change in the world. But if I were to choose the way to do it, I would rather do so creatively than politically or ambitiously, right? People say that the only real change in the world comes from people in power. So maybe the question is, can you harness more power somehow? But, I don't know, there's something to be said about leaving influence in the world and just making sure people never really forget who you are. I think not being forgotten is also a nice sentiment to have. It's not that it'll never affect you, it's more your active choice once you've let yourself feel things. You fool, I say with respect, you already do that. What am I doing again? Mankind refused to change society, so instead of reflecting on themselves, they blamed the beast. But they found beauty in the lives of beasts, and so they couldn't lie to themselves anymore about it. I can't remember how the last line goes, but that's pretty much it. Everyone forgets the last half of that. They didn't after they blamed the beast, they found beauty in them. How do you want to achieve that? Like I said, I just want to do the things that I think I'm good at. Right? I'm not going to try and think too hard about it. Of course, I have strategies for going about those things. But the more rigorously calculated I try to do those things, the more I feel like I've become out of touch with myself. Battle doesn't mean... Thanks, Marco. You should be the cool guy that you are. Never forget D's. Thanks, Marco. Battle doesn't mean one has to come on top. It's all stalemates and slight conflicts. That's the beauty of it all. The mild chaos that exists and contests the harmony, total peace and total chaos are impossible factors because then it would result in nothing to strive for. No true change that comes from the mix of both. What a beautiful philosophy. And one that I can compare using an analogy, in that the beauty of competition in sports is that they allow for communication, and just because there is only one winner and one loser does not necessarily dictate the course of life or history. In having conflict, there is resolution, and in resolution there comes progress, and that in itself is a beautiful thing. You help bring others happiness, encourage all those around you to be better. At least I try to do that, for sure. Continue to make that cool guy even cooler. Your best battle always comes from your prior self, no matter what. You'll win as long as you grow even just a bit. So long as you grow even a bit. From progress comes future conflicts, a beautiful cycle that is existence. I think my concern, though, is when conflict breeds more conflict, right? That's when people get hurt. That's when things get destroyed in the process. That's when people get caught in the crossfire. And some things are irreversible as a result. I think mediated conflict, as oxymoronic as that sounds, is necessary in some ways. I don't know if necessary evil is, funny enough, necessary. Conspiracy theory, which is obviously true in a lot of cases, but, you know, some countries literally orchestrate wars for the world's benefit. And that's pretty fucked up. At the same time, though, it does things to the world's economy that where other people will benefit. And it's such a conundrum of ethics and morals and like utilitarianism that I can't even begin to wrap my head around it. Conflict for conflict's sake is too dangerous. Mediation is definitely necessary. I agree. Because if you let any side go too far, then sometimes it ends up in, well, it results in very bad things happening. But yeah, let's see. I'm about to come up on 3 hours here. I'm trying to think about what I would do after, right? Reason I myself have always hated the idea of celebrating downfalls and destruction. You destroy and end up leaving no nutrients for anything new to grow. Why not plant a seed for growth along the way? It's true, exactly, right? Well, you know, I was thinking about this one scene from an event I played in Grand Blue Fantasy, where one of the gods of fire has to descend and, like, sweep the land clean with cleansing fire. And the reason for this is so that new things can grow. And so sometimes I think to myself, maybe destruction is a little necessary because it's a process of renewal as well. Grand Blue. Now that I think about it, Gamba, you could play that game. It's free to play, technically, if you want to be a Grand Main. And being Grand Main is nothing to sneeze at because that character is also pretty good. Can't preserve everything forever. Yeah, that's how we get Dark Souls plots. Destruction definitely is, but poison the ground is just, yeah, don't do poisoned ground. That's bad. Scorched earth, very, very bad. Nothing can grow there. Sometimes things die and that's okay. That's just how it goes, yeah. This is why I must destroy my body so a better one comes and replaces it. I don't think you get more of those. Thank you for lurking, X Digital. But yeah, stuff like that is something else, right? Isn't the concept of death and getting old scary? It is. It's not like it isn't. But it's by confronting these things that help us accept it in the end, right? I don't want to go into the details, but what I will say is I've held death in my hands before, and it's a hard feeling to come to grips with. Coming to terms with it is something that it might place you in denial for a very long time. And even then, you might not ever get over it, right? But it's one of those things that just helps you appreciate life in different ways. Sorry you had to face that? Mm-hmm. I prefer to respect destruction and seek to grow new things in their place. Mm-hmm. We're able and mobile now, but later and down the line, we're going to be old and not being able to do things we did when we were younger. I know. I don't want to be old. I think that's why, I mean, you have to understand the beauty of life as a process, right? If you keep thinking about the end, then you're putting energy into things that haven't happened yet. Whereas there's things that you can do now. There's stuff that you can enjoy in the present. I think it's important to value that kind of thing and just take life by the reins. You know? You haven't gotten old yet. You can cross that bridge when you get there. Even then, there's going to be things... While there's going to be things that you weren't able to... that you're not going to be able to do anymore once you're older, there are things that will become more important to you as you age, right? What those things are depends on the person. But those things will come. Your cells die while new ones are made. That's actually true. I guess Marco was onto something. Your body already does that. I was most scared of death in 2021 and it gave me a damn near panic attack and stress. And the one thing that brought me out of it, becoming a streamer and playing lots of fighting games. In other words, finding a purpose. I agree. I think people are at their best when they're doing stuff that they feel like they're meant to do, right? Even if it's not something that you're destined to do, even if it's just getting a job done. Keeping the body moving will help your brain process things better. Exactly. How about I think of reincarnation instead? Whoa. I don't know my purpose. I'm still figuring out life. Sometimes that's the point of life, to figure out the purpose. And even if you never really figure out, even if you never really figure it all out, that's what life is for. Right? The life is for everything in between as you try to figure that out. And sometimes people never really figure it out until like the very end of it. Like one movie director I remember someone mentioning. But even then, right? It's that journey, you know, that whole thing about smelling the flowers along the way, about every single up and down that you had. It's being able to look back on those moments and think to yourself, I've lived a life. I only thought of being old and dying when I had nothing to look forward to. Much harder to do that when I started having to look forward to the following week, planning streams and new videos and stuff to do. Exactly. I'm also told that I'm still quite young. Well, age expectancy these days a lot longer than it used to be. Back then, everyone was kept so busy that they didn't even have time to contemplate, right? That was for people who had a lot of resources and money. Nowadays, everyone gets to, and everyone has so much time in their hands that they think a little too much. My recommendation, if you can't find a good hobby, go find a good activity, like a sport or exercise. You know, get a little physical. It does wonders for the body, the mind, and the heart. And you got something to look forward to? Ooh. Big brain. That's what I think too, actually. There was a point of time where getting to 18 was rare. If you got sick back then, you were cooked. And those doctors were not helping. It's true, actually. So it's your will to fight against destiny. Time, forge your own path if it's what you seek. Such is the beauty of your will, and this is the time to do it, because the beauty about will is that humanity's current place is the result of billions of years of different wills prevailing over each other. That is also true. Life is a gift. The present is a present. Right? Don't take for granted the circumstances of your birth. You know? A lot of people might have fought for where you stand today. And who knows, you might be part of that fight too. For now, though, don't think too hard about it, I'd say. Just take a step in a direction. And if it's not the right direction, you can always turn to a different path. Go out and try stuff, find stuff, and when something catches your eye, it could be anything, pursue it with your whole ass. Or through that, you'll find the answer. Worked that way for me anyway. That's me in fighting games. Everybody needs exercise. I agree. I've been trying to like play my gacha games on my phone while on the treadmill to try and knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. It's working great. I found out that to finish all my dailies, well, not necessarily all my dailies, but okay, if I'm counting gachas with my card game stuff too, 3 miles is usually how long it takes. But yeah. You know, honestly speaking, I do enjoy just chatting streams. I mean, I don't want to trade out reading and writing entirely. But I think having spaces for these kinds of chats is also important to have. I'll consider it moving forward. We love Azatsudan. So Japanese of you. I'm kidding, but yeah. Bronsois Shizu, we should rule the world and seek world domination together. I'm good. I don't need to own the world to change it. That's right. Our ancient ancestors left their motherlands and eliminated the Neanderthals so I could sit on the toilet and count roach damage in Shadowverse. You're so right for that in such a wrong way. But yes, I am guilty of this too. Just you and I, Shizu. Just chatting it up on a Monday midnight. For you, maybe. Well, actually, I guess it is midnight on Monday. It's so weird how the date changes like that. The day doesn't start till the sun comes up for me. That's all I'm saying. I don't need to own the world. I just want to make cool shit and have enough money to take care of myself. Also true. Playlist? I'm just listening to Animal Crossing music. This is 3 a.m. from Animal Crossing New Leaf. I respect that, just me then. I knew a guy in elementary school who said that they wanted to be a dictator when they grew up, and I thought they were a very interesting individual. I don't know where they are now. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're up to. I wonder if their aspirations are just as big as they were back then, though. Can I have your playlist that you usually play on stream? Depends. I usually find a lot of my playlists through 2 people, actually. Here, let me get them for you. Here's one of them. And here's the other one. That's scary. I mean, I was skeptical because of the fact that I'm just like, I don't really know what your plan is for going about this, and, well, he had some specifics, but not really anything that specific, so it was like, well, I guess, whatever. My cousin said shit like that. He's a finance bro now. There you go. I'd be the best dictator of all time, for real, for real. You would just have universal public health care and good public transportation and universal basic income. I don't know. Is that politically, like, drastic to say? I don't think so. I think as a regular citizen, those are pretty nice things to have. That's all I'm saying. Yes, yes, and yes. Okay, great. Marco would be the best dictator ever. Dare I say, referencing Zatch Bell, maybe what we need is a benevolent monarch. Sorry if the blab is a bit much. No, you're fine. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna read this very quickly. You know, guys, gardening is a great hobby. Growing things and bringing new life into the world, great stuff. Do not engineer biohazards, though. That's bad. Don't do that. Just a random thought. That's it. Real. What if I told you I seeked world domination? Well, for good or for bad? Right? Power tends to corrupt is the thing, right? You do a bunch of good things, and then after that you do a bunch of bad things in order to do the good things. And then after that you become a very questionable figure in human history. What are you gonna do with it? What if I told you that I seek free healthcare? Great for you. Great for us. Our healthcare. It's always the question I have with people who want to control the world. What the hell are you gonna do once you get a hold of it? Free dessert for everybody. I'd also make an example of the corrupted people that ruled the previous system. Fear is necessary evil, but that evil should only be felt by felt by evil beings. Oh, you know, that reminds me of I think it was a tweet I saw, but it was the paradox of intolerance, right? Oh, it might have been on Blue Sky. Okay, let me explain something to you guys that might enlighten you a little bit. The paradox of intolerance is when, in a society full of tolerant people, if tolerant people tolerate intolerant people, then it breeds space for intolerance to essentially overtake the system, which leads to the downfall of tolerance. So in other words, by rule of thumb, tolerant people should not tolerate intolerant people, right? Intolerant people need to be excised, unfortunately, because of the fact that they would just create more problems than not. I'm the sympathetic anime villain, not the protag, I'm afraid. You know, Marco, I think those make for more interesting characters anyway. Yujiro Hanma certainly made some work with the US. Uh-huh. You would have been a great French revolutionary. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna make life better overall for life around the globe and remove all the corruption in the world and create a cult where people openly share their feelings with each other and accept each other for who they are. I'll go down as truly evil. Incredible work. Have you considered playing Cult of the Lamb? And he became an ally. Whoa. What if I told you I wanted to give Ramathal a frame 1 6p that combos into itself, does 420 unscaled damage, covers full screen, frame 1 invincible and intangible, and gives me your credit card number and the 3 silly numbers on the back and the expiration date? I don't know if that would make you evil as much as it would be proving your diabolicalness. Wicked. Exactly. Maybe that's what we need more of. Real, Braun. Always keep an open mind. This is a lot to ponder on. Yeah, I know, right? Angela Arcana, hello. As any paradox is, by being intolerant of intolerance, you yourself become exiled from your own system. It's true. However, it's more like... the only thing you don't tolerate is intolerance, right? And intolerance is essentially just hate, and you cannot tolerate hate. When we put it in less confusing terms, it becomes very simple. Like, is it wrong to hate haters? No, but it's more like there is no emotion attached to it. Rather, you do it for the good of the system. You know what I mean? Because otherwise the system becomes corrupted from the roots, and that's when the whole tree dies. Also, welcome in, Angelo. Intolerance is the 1% of germs not wiped out by disinfectant. To counter, you have to keep applying disinfectant. That's true. Not gonna lie, I wish humans had human tails. Like, imagine if the moms at Walmart saying, "Oh my god, your hair is so pretty." Then you say thanks with a straight face. But if we had a tail, that shit would be wagging so fast. And she'll notice and be like, "Oh, look at you getting all excited for mom." Then you start blushing, get all bad. What? Y'all feeling me on this one? Given that we're all playing Horse Girls recently, yes. When you don't tolerate intolerance, you just become intolerant and the loop starts again. Well, it's like you become tolerant of everybody except for the intolerant people, because the intolerant people are the ones that are essentially making the system worse, right? I knew you'd understand, of course. That's why Paris is always rioting. Understandable. They're so cool for that. Maybe Marco will go to Paris, or maybe not. Paris. People will always hate each other. That's the nature of being communal creatures. Herds and packs have actively fought against each other since the dawn of time. Primates like chimpanzees have shown war is a natural thing, but it can be controlled, I believe. I think you're right. It's difficult, though. Especially if you're trying to, like, control the pieces on the board. There's only so much you can do for things that are outside of your control. My brain... It's a paradox for a reason. Even in the most simple settings, those who are intolerant are using the same justification for being intolerant to other beliefs. It's truly an endless loop. I know, right? That's the thing, right? It's always going to be an us versus them unless people can compromise. And by compromise, I mean that you have to agree that you're going to disagree, but at least on the important things, that there are going to be things that you both agree. Like, that would be really bad because that would kill everybody, and that's no good. Right? John, One Piece and I may have incurred Seema's wrath. What the... We're all playing Horse Girls recently. Me sweating having Horse Girl game open while listening? Yes, exactly. So you understand. Politics are too much for me. I agree. I think I did one personality test, and the one line about politics is, "Don't go into politics. You will die." And I thought about it, and I agreed. All I'll say in slash serious of what I said there is, if you're a person who wants to hurt people for your own pleasure, even if you call it justice healing, I don't want to associate you as my friend. I came across cold and like, I think you're actually right. I think people should take a stance on that. Like, let's be very clear about this. If you hate trans people, I think that's a problem. Alright? If you believe, like, LGBTQ plus people don't deserve rights, I think you're in the wrong. I think you're on the wrong side of history. Sorry. I think that's messed up. I think people should be free to do whatever they want to be. Or they should be free to be whoever they want to be and do whatever they want to do as long as you don't hurt other people. Apparently that's the witches, like, the what's it called? That's the mantra of witches or something like that, but either way, right? At any rate, chat, I believe we've gotten to the end a bit. I'm snoozing the ad for now. Because it's about that time, I'd say. And such that compromise has led to nations, city-states, and there's factions, yeah. I've spent enough time digging into psychology, sociology, politics, and a touch of history. All I can say is that all of it will make you die early from stress. Exactly. Glad that you're still around, though. You seem like an interesting person to talk to. We ought to at least seek to understand, or at least stay away if we don't have anything positive or constructive to contribute. Also true. Stay in your own lane. Good chat, stream. What time? Hi, Kodo. What time? It's time to end? But, you know, I appreciate people coming around. Thanks for 3,000 followers. I think most people here get sad at the fact that we cannot be friends with everybody. That to me means that there's something inside us that makes us care about fellow people. I 100% believe that there are people that do not have it in them to feel this emotion, and that we could reshape society to identify and isolate this type of humanoid. They cannot be trusted. Yeah, I think what you're talking about, like, sociopaths and, what's it called? Sometimes also, like, narcissists. People who lack empathy. Time to subscribe? You don't have to do that. This show is free. The emotes are not. Remember that witches were just women that people didn't like with certain isolated societies, victims of misogyny? True. However, did you also know that witches are not limited to gender? There were male witches too. And they were also prosecuted. Basically, witches were simply a label used to conveniently off people that people in power did not like. Son, get this bar to 5K? We'll get there eventually. Maybe not immediately, but, you know, milestones. We've officially reached 3K, which means I have a lot of things planned. However, I need a good date for it, and I have some more prep work to do. And like I said, that's more time for projects, right? And when more project time means more commitment, and more commitment means less time for other things, which means I really shouldn't do 6-hour streams anymore. I need to cut back and get things done. And also, as much as I love my friends, I need to say no to my friends sometimes on hanging out and say, sorry, I need to work on stuff. And then actually work on stuff. I'm a witch for real, for real. Yeah, man. I'll leave everyone with a moral question. What if what is best for mankind and humanity is also a detestable future? Is it worth fighting what would make society most prosperous to more closely fit your own beliefs? Yeah, it's tough, right? That's like the plot of... Actually, the moral conundrum. Playing Fear and Hunger will definitely make you question things about life. But those are the best types of questions to grapple in order to really become a very well-rounded human being, in my opinion. Time to Buddha for real, for real. Hold on now. Prioritize your shit. Risk of rain. No, that's Riles Ether 2 time. No, I'm saying no to that. That itself then devolves into such things like eugenics. If somebody is born as a sociopath, then such you will be destined to create an outcast faction repeating the sins of others. Ah, you're right. Right? Is it possible to coexist? Is it possible to help people understand despite their deficiencies in certain areas? I think that life has a place for everybody, and then naturally, like, there's a way for life to sort people out who are like that. And people say, if God don't do it, then I'll do it, right? They'll take the matters into their own hands. That's also a thing that happens. So either way, right? Was immediately touching on my question without even knowing it. Hunter is like that. Hunter is actually so cerebral when Hunter feels like it. I choose to believe in the potential for the best in anyone. I damn the sin, not the person. I will move on from there with no held judgment. So that's just me personally. Ah, Tabitha Rasa versus nature and nurture. I'm getting to that era too. Now's the time for me to do the work required to grow bigger and pursue this shit. Truly. Totally. That makes me actually putting myself first sometimes, yeah. I agree. And part of that means we gotta raid out, people. You can't create the outcast group without basically creating another ism with another label. It's truly, yeah. Raid time. Yeah, okay. Where do we go? Where do we go? I got a couple places, guys. I think this stream fits the vibe the most, and so I want to send you guys here, in my opinion. Yeah, this makes sense to me. I don't know how long they'll be up, but we're gonna go there anyway. Thanks for stream. Right. Which way do we go? It's all the same cycle. See ya. I'll see you next time. Thank you for coming, everybody. When that out group, if grown big enough, will be just be another rival faction. Then we get war. Exactly, Hunter. You get it. The cycle repeats. Don't worry, we have ways, but we don't have to talk about that right now. 200 eyes on me. 200 eyes on me. I'll drift tonight, everybody. But anyways, it's time. Follow me. Over here. I'm not gonna lie. Turning this off feels like ear cleaning. Like, the silence is so loud. Anyways, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for spending time with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for helping me feel better. I hope that maybe today resonated with a lot of you. Hope that you have a great day. Hope you have a great week. We're going to be rating Year Zed. Zed is a very cool content creator. They're going to be rebranding in the future, and that's okay. Right now they're just chilling, chatting, just vibing, really. They're very cool and also very chill. So go treat them well. Here's the raid message if you have the emotes. If you don't have the emotes, feel free to use the other one instead. Have a great rest of the day. Oh, thanks, Bot. Carried by the waves, it's true. Just chatting streams is pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, next time you see me will be tomorrow. I don't want to say 8:30. I don't want to say sooner or later. I have things I gotta do. I have schedules to keep, and I have surprises that I might have to take care of. So I will see you when I see you. I just know that tomorrow I want to stream Guilty Gear, and so you know how that's gonna go. Evo's in like a week, so I gotta keep preparing. After Evo though, I got so many things I want to do. I just want to play games and just be a variety streamer for a while, if that's okay. But yeah, that's about it for me, everybody. My name is Francois, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you later. Marco, we can't do an Evo watch party because I'm going to be at Evo. But you can do one in the Discord yourself if you want. But I'm imagining you're going to be hanging out with other people. Okay, that's it for me. Bye-bye.